John Robinson, in his 7th year, he's won 60% of his games with the Rams and has taken the club in the postseason 5 times. Jim Mora, in his 4th season with the Saints, the only man who has ever coached this club to a winning record and the playoffs. The Saints will kick off. Morton Anderson will do the job. Robert Del Pino and Ron Brown are deep to receive. Most of the time, you do not get to return a Morton Anderson kick, especially at the Superdome. And the Rams will get to start again from their own 20. Jim Everett has established himself as one of the league's premier quarterbacks. He appears to be over a hip pointer and ready for the stretch run. Henry Ellard will not start tonight because of a pulled leg muscle, so Flipper Anderson will be his big play target. He is averaging a league-leading 30.7 yards a catch. The offensive line is aging but extremely productive. Tom Newberry, the youngster at 26, made the Pro Bowl a year ago. Play action by Everett. Throws complete at the 35-yard line. Had Flipper Anderson. Toy Cook was with him, but couldn't stop the pass. The Saints lead the league in defense against the run. Noseman Jim Wilkes leads the down lineman in sacks. He has 4. But getting the quarterback is the specialty of Pat Swilling. He's 2nd in the league with 13.5 sacks, all in the last 7 weeks. The linebackers as a group have always been the heart of this defense. A lot of changes in the secondary. The talent and aggressive play of Robert Massey allowed New Orleans to move Dave Waymer to safety. Everett out throwing quickly to Anderson, forced out of bounds, has another first down at the 45-yard line. Massey, the rookie, was out there on coverage.
Well, what we saw with the Rams doing, Mike, is they're coming out. First of all, they feel like they can't run the football effectively against the Saints. They're ranked #1 defensively against the run. So what they want to do, because it's a John Robinson football team, they want to give the illusion of running, so they're running play-action passes. That was the first pass. The second one was a little bit of a hitch pattern in front of the corners of the Saints. So look for the Rams to come out and try and throw the football. They've started, and that's what they're going to do tonight.
Robert Del Pino, number 39, is checked into the Rams' backfield. McGee in motion. And Del Pino gets the first carry. Breaks the tackle, gets to the 49-yard line. And Del Pino is the guy that John Robinson likes so much, he thinks he's going to be a superstar.
And the amazing thing about him is he's only played running back for 3 years. He was a wide receiver at Missouri, played a wishbone halfback. And talking to Jackie Slater yesterday, he said that there isn't a better coach in the National Football League to teach a guy how to be a running back than John Robinson.
Robinson called Del Pino a natural football player. He's finally getting more time. Kind of back he likes, someone who accelerates into the hole. 2nd and 6. Everett quickly out to Del Pino. Dives forward to the Saints' 41-yard line. Swilling was out there. Vaughn Johnson, Sam Mills was also in the area.
Talking to John Robinson, he said that ultimately what he wants in his backfield is he wants backs that have to be respected as pass receivers, whether they're lined up in the backfield or, as we saw Del Pino on that one, lined up outside wide. That's the big advantage that Del Pino gives him over Bell in the backfield.
You also may see something different from John Robinson next year. Instead of the I, a set of split backs, both running backs. Johnson and Holohan both into the ball game. Comes the rush on Everett. Mills chasing it, and Everett unloads. The Saints came with a blitz that time, and Sam Mills at 5'9" still cast a big shadow on Jim Everett.
As we talked about, the way that the Saints feel like they can go after Everett, they want to get those feet moving. Now watch Mills, right side of your screen. He comes in right behind Slayton, who's pulling out to block. Now Tony Slayton goes, whoa, wait a second, where are you, Sam? And Jim does a good job, just unloads this one over to the cheap seats, almost gets to the people down on the floor.
2nd and 10 from the Saints' 41-yard line. Bell is the deep man in the eye. And he'll get the carry. Good block by McGee. Greg Bell to the 35-yard line. Bell 4th in the conference in rushing.
Key to this football game is going to be how well the Ram offensive line can block those inside linebackers, Vaughn Johnson and Sam Mills. Of course, Ricky Jackson, who is an amazing story in himself. You know, the doctor said he'd be out 3 months after that, the eye injury that he had in the accident. He was back with a specially constructed helmet in 2 weeks. So, I mean, it just tells you about the intensity of this guy.
3rd down and 6. 4 wide receivers in the game. 5-man rush. Everett unloads, complete to Cox. Looks like he has the first down at the 30, and he does. Robert Massey, the rookie out of North Carolina Central, was right there.
Take a look at Jim Everett's feet on this. You'll see how, and this is what we're talking about. See how he keeps this foot back? That's because Tom Newberry always steps on it, so that's why he lines up that way. See, now he's out of the way, so Newberry can't step on it. Now watch him set. He sets that right foot and then moves forward and delivers the ball. That's what he has to do tonight. See, the Saints, if they can get him pitter-patter and pit-around and give him those happy feet, it won't be a happy night for Jim Everett.
Been a happy everything so far. 4 out of 5, 43 yards. First down at the 30. Bell drags Vaughn Johnson with him forward. Johnson is a very underrated linebacker. I mean, you've got Swilling, Sam Mills, Ricky Jackson. There's only so much publicity you can get for guys, and they have 4 tremendous linebackers.
Well, it's interesting. Ricky Jackson's a big play guy. Pat Swilling is a big pass rush sack guy. Sam Mills is 5'9". He doesn't belong in there. Vaughn Johnson, he's just a normal-sized guy. I mean, like, you know, it's a what's left for me. This is nothing unique about him, so nobody really talks about him, except he's part of what would be considered in this league now the best linebacking corps.
2nd and 7. Bell. Nice hole up the middle. 20, 15. Down to the 12-yard line. Massey made the tackle along with Mills. There's a flag down. It will be holding against the Rams.
Holding, number 24 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
McGee calls for the hold.
We talked about Ricky Jackson being a big play guy. You see on the right side, number 24, right side just hangs that left arm out and pulls him down. Really an unnecessary block. Actually, what he thought is he thought Bell was going to go outside. But the offensive line got such a good push that McGee got caught off guard when Bell took it up inside. Couldn't do anything. He was out of position, just had to grab it.
2nd and 17 now for the Rams from New Orleans' 36-yard line. Everett with time. Did Anderson catch it in bounds? No, he didn't. Massey never saw the ball.
They said Flipper Anderson was bobbling this one as he goes out. Everett's got a nice pocket to throw out of. Here comes throw. Massey doesn't have the faintest idea it's there. Now, it looks like he's in, except for the fact that he doesn't have the football. Now, this is something that's very important. Quarterback looks for about 3 seconds to throw the ball. There he's getting it off at 2-8. If his line can give him 2-8 all night, the Saints are in for a long evening.
Brett Maxey and Milton Mack checked into the Saints secondary. They'll go with 6 defensive backs on 3rd and 17. Cox couldn't hold it. Once again, the rookie Robert Massey was right there.
Now, we've seen Jim Everett, okay? Last time he stepped up in the pocket. Watch this time. He never gets that. See how he's set on the back foot now? See how he's throwing? See how he swings that right foot forward? He's throwing falling backwards. It causes the ball to go up into the air.
Dale Hatcher will punt. Waiting deep for it, Rod Harris at the 10. Hatcher tries to kick this as high as he can. Signal for the fair catch made at the 8-yard line. 28-yard punt. But an excellent job by Hatcher to get it inside the 10. We're scoreless first quarter. 0-0 first quarter, 9:32 to go. Rams held the ball almost 5.5 minutes, came away with nothing, and now the Saints will start from their own 8-yard line. Dalton Hilliard, the staple of their running game. Still driving forward, gets it all the way out to the 15-yard line. Bobby Hebert runs the Saints offense. He is the third-ranked passer in the conference. And with the controlled passing game, he's completing nearly 65% of his throws. The Saints are balanced on offense, 6th in the league running and passing. Dalton Hilliard having a brilliant year, 2nd in the league in yards from scrimmage. It's a good run-blocking line, but because of an injury, Jim Dombrowski has had to move from tackle to guard. He is playing very well there. 2nd and 3 after Hilliard bowled for 7. Hebert with the bomb, incomplete. Clifford Hicks beaten on the play. And Hebert laid it out there beautifully. Floyd Turner, the rookie out of Northwest Louisiana, couldn't catch it.
Bobby Hebert just puts this one up. Floyd Turner is running. Now he's got Hicks beat something terrible. And he just reaches out and goes through his hand. Right here, you see him reach out for it. Gets those. Actually, if he puts his hands together, it lands in it. He's a rookie. He's still learning.
Out of the same school that Bobby Hebert went to. 3rd and 3. Hebert under some pressure. Wilcher chases it. First down, and then Hebert ducks. And Clifford Hicks is hurt. When a quarterback runs and there's a collision, you expect the guy to get up the slowest would be the quarterback. This time it's Clifford Hicks.
Bobby Hebert runs a little bit, but not very well. And that time he couldn't quite get to the out of bounds and put an ugly slide down. I mean, he wasn't sure where to go. I think he was trying to get out of bounds. There he's looking. He sees Hicks coming. Well, no, I can't get out. Let me slide. That's a dive.
Oh.
That's a double knee job. There's another look at it. Hicks comes flying in, and really I think they go knee to knee.
Also got a shoulder pad right in the chops. We'll check on Clifford Hicks when we come back. No score first quarter in New Orleans. That's Clifford Hicks, who had to be helped off the field, limping on that right knee. They're attending to him on the sideline, and Leroy Irvin, the two-time Pro Bowler, has checked in at the right corner in place of Clifford Hicks. There's Irvin coming back from suspension for substance abuse in the preseason, then an injured ankle. On 1st and 10, Dalton Hilliard running hard across the 25 to the 27-yard line. The Rams defense has been very tough against the run. Nose man Alvin Wright shores up the center of the line. The key to that pressure or eagle defense might be Fred Strickland. He was injured for 3 of the Rams' 4 losses. There have been a lot of changes in the Rams secondary in the last 2 years, but Jerry Gray remains a constant, a natural safety. He has been to 3 straight Pro Bowls as a corner. And next year they plan to move Jerry Gray back to safety. Buford Jordan is the single setback, and he gets the carry. Bounces off of Strickland and 2 other tackles. Gets it out to the 35-yard line, and the crowd really appreciates it.
This is just some hard running by Buford Jordan. He just puts his head down. He's 223 pounds, and he just lowers his head. You see Strickland move over to try and make the tackle. Good position by the offensive line of the Saints. Newsom comes up, tries to lay a hand on him, can't. Finally, it takes 2 or 3 of them to bring him down.
That is only the 20th carry for Buford Jordan this year in 12 games.
But he averages almost 5 yards a pop.
Hilliard cuts inside of Kevin Green, gets it up to the 38-yard line. Newsom was in there along with Larry Kelm. And Kelm and Strickland are really a key to this Ram defense. When they were hurt, there were so few things that they could do on defense. Now that Kelman and Strickland are back, they can use their whole package.
They're the quarterbacks on the defense for the Rams. They call all the defenses. They set everybody up. And in particular, not necessarily against the run, but in pass coverage, the inside linebackers are very key in the 34 because that inside zone is the softest.
2nd and 7. Hebert with time. Complete to the 48-yard line. Irvin makes the tackle, but not before Turner made the catch.
Bobby Hebert takes that real short set. Very seldom gets past 7 yards deep. Very, very seldom gets past that 7 yards, sets and fires. Now, there's Kevin Green coming on the outside. He just can't get there. He makes a good hard rush upfield, but now all of a sudden the ball is gone. I mean, he's not even close. He gets a chance to circle around after the fact.
Well, Hebert has a first down at the Saints' 48-yard line. Turner got by Jerry Gray and reached the 45-yard line. So the youngster out of Northwest Louisiana has had an impact here in the first quarter.
He can dance. I think that's the best way to describe it. This man can dance. Watch these little feet move up and down. He'll take the hitch. Now Bobby Hebert just turns, throws it out. Now he's one-on-one with the cornerback. Jerry Gray sets himself. Little move inside, little move outside, and hello, goodbye. Gray tried to really grab the football to cause the fumble more so than tackle Turner.
Gain of 7, 2nd and 3. Approaching the 4.5-minute mark, first quarter. Hilliard. Excellent cutback runner near the 40. He's got another first down. You know, both of these teams really had their swoons this year. The Saints got off to a terrible start at 1-4. The Rams at one period went 0-4. So they have both come back. The Saints, since that 1-4 start, have won 5 of their last 6. And Jim Moore and his coaching staff deserve a lot of the credit for holding the team together because they could have given up very easily.
Well, when you talk to Jim Moore, if you ever watch his practice habits and the way he sets his football team, it's all business. Everybody is disciplined. If they do hit a slump, it's because they're not executing on the field. It's not because they're not prepared.
10th play of the drive coming up. Clifford Hicks, by the way, has a sprained right knee. He may be able to come back. Hebert with a lot of time, dumps it off. It's his fullback, Buford Jordan, a little check down pattern, and he has another first down at the 25, gain of 15.
Bobby Hebert seems to be bouncing back from last week's horrible performance. I talked to him in the locker room Friday at practice, and he said, you know, I just played terrible. But it was little things like the receiver not coming back to me a little bit, and I was a little bit off with throws. And, you know, he takes full responsibility for it. But this guy has really got total command of his offense. And you look at the numbers he puts up for a completion percentage, almost 65%.
And that includes that very bad game he had a week ago. Hilliard. Dalton Hilliard down to the 20-yard line.
You know, Mike, the Rams don't want to do it. They don't want to blitz. They want to play the zone. They don't really feel that they have the people back there to blitz with right now. But in all honesty, I think the only way that they're going to shut down that Saint offense running the football is to get some of the safeties involved and bring the linebackers up a little closer to come after them.
2 long drives in this first quarter. The Rams 5.5 minutes, no points. The Saints have had the ball for about 7 minutes. Second and 5, Hilliard again. This time maybe a yard. Gray got in there in a hurry. Hilliard is such a threat for this ball club. He is second in the National Football League in yards from scrimmage, only behind Thurman Thomas.
He does everything. Last week had 29 carries, 158 yards in the TD. He's averaging almost 4 yards a carry, got 11 touchdowns running it, 3 catching it, 36 receptions. I mean, he is, without them, we asked Jim Moore what would happen. He says, I don't know. I really don't even want to think about it.
3rd and 4. Hebert will go to the shotgun, 3 wide receivers to the top of the screen. Then Hebert goes back the other way. Martin, touchdown!
Bobby Hebert just sets, reads the defense. Eric Martin on the post. Perfectly thrown ball. Picking on Darrell Henley, number 20, the rookie. You want to see release time? We saw Everett at 2.8. Hebert's at 2.0. You're not going to get to a quarterback in a shotgun getting rid of the ball in 2 seconds.
Morton Anderson, 30 out of 31 points after this year. Will try to make it a 7-0 lead and does. Well, Bobby Hebert hit 4 out of 5 passes on that impressive opening drive, and he's led the Saints to a 7-0 lead. CFA football coming up Saturday, and the national championship now up for grabs.
Yeah, Notre Dame lost yesterday. I know that.
Morton Anderson kicking off, and for a change, it might be returnable. Ron Brown from a yard deep. Chased out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Robert Massey down on special teams for the Saints.
When you look at the touchdown, it looks like double coverage. You got the corners up, the safeties are back. What happens is Jerry Gray moves inside. Hebert reads it. Martin runs the quick post. He fires the strike for the touchdown. This is an excellent job, not only by Eric Martin beating Henley on the bottom, but Bobby Hebert reading it and getting rid of the football.
Very impressive drive. 91 yards, took more than 8 minutes off the clock. We have only 1:18 to go first quarter. Both teams have had the ball once. The difference is the Saints moved it well and scored. The Rams moved it well and burned themselves with a holding penalty. Everett on first down, floats it for McGee, covered very well by Massey. It looks like they're trying to find out where the rookie is and pick on him.
Well, what they're trying to do is they don't feel like they can run the football effectively. So what you do in lieu of running the football on 1st and 10, you try and hit short passes. As the Saints, we saw them do. Hit the little underneath stuff, hit a back, hit a guy with a hook. You want to pick up 5-6 yards on 1st and 10. The last thing Everett wants to get into is 2nd and long and 3rd and long, which he has now.
He's in it now. Everett has missed his last 3. That's what he did against the New Orleans Saints, and he was sacked 5 times in that first meeting. Bell. Out. Give him a couple. Frank Warren, the first man there, but he had a lot of company. The Saints, number 1 in the National Football League against the run, giving up less than 80 yards a game. And they've held opponents under 100 in 8 straight. So you don't come out with a running game plan.
Hey, I was talking to Ernie Zampese down on the field. He says we're going to have to run just to keep it somewhat respectable, but we can't beat them running the football.
3rd and 9. Nowhere to go. Ricky Jackson will get credit for the sack, but Jim Everett just couldn't find a receiver.
Well, what happens that time is when the Saints can rush just 4, and you'll see them. They have 4 guys rushing, and they're going to drop 8 back into coverage. Now, Everett feels the pressure coming up the gut. See, that's the problem. He's a big guy, and he's got to step up front. He's not real nifty.
Hatcher to punt to Rod Harris. Low line drive kick, and Harris up to take it at the 48. Only got a 4-yard return, but did a good job to catch the ball on the fly. A 32-yard punt, a 4-yard return. Mike McDonald made the tackle. Rams 7-0 with only a few ticks of the clock left in the first quarter. Excuse me, New Orleans 7-0. And Jim Mora trying to get his team back in the playoff picture after an awful start. And tonight is the biggest game he's had all year long.
You know, you talk to him, you say, it's not the end of our season. It's not, you know, but it is a very important football game. We've got more to play, but this one determines pretty much how we're going to go on and play the rest.
Saints come out with 3 tight ends, Brenner, Tice, and Scales. The lone setback is Hilliard. Hilliard gets a couple quickly. The nose man, Alvin Wright, number 99, got there for the tackle. Gain of maybe a yard. And that's the end of the first quarter. Our score, the New Orleans Saints 7, the Los Angeles Rams nothing. We'll be back to the Superdome in just a moment. After one quarter, New Orleans over the Rams 7-0. Jim Mora, one of the more stoic coaches in the NFL, but his press conferences have been anything but stoic.
Now, first of all, you're going to ask me what I thought of the call last week on Frank Warren? The officiating yesterday was pretty good. Nice.
Go ahead, Mike.
That was about a month and a half ago, and the media provided the dancer for Jim Mora. I don't think he really knew how to react to that.
So I wouldn't either. You know, it's almost a hate-love affair down here. It seems like they only throw 7 passes in the second half of the last 2 games, and he's not satisfied, or the public's not satisfied, the media's not satisfied that they're winning.
2nd and 9. Three-man rush, Hebert with time, complete to Scales at the 27-yard line. The tight end, Greg Scales, gets his 7th catch of the season. A wide receiver out of college, he's now up to 253 pounds.
Watch this, left side of your screen, number 83 goes down, just runs a simple little corner pattern. What happens, you bring people in tight. What you do is you close down the football field and you work to the tight ends and the backs. Now here's Larry Kellum inside, going back, dropping into the zone, but he gets in a dead area underneath the secondary people, just the other side of the linebacker.
Scales, the tough tight end to cover. He has some speed. Dalton Hilliard, nice hole off the right side to the 17-yard line. Sean Miller downfield to make the tackle. Buford Jordan, a nice lead block.
Dalton Hilliard showing why he should be a Pro Bowler. Made all the moves right here outside. Watch the sharp cuts. This is what happens when you play on a carpet and you're a little guy. See how he cuts back behind the tackle, puts a move on Newsome, now continues to spin and keep his feet going. Big key for the Saints, though, and you saw it at the end of that replay, is their linemen get downfield and try and chip people off the tackle.
2nd and a yard. Hilliard got off the tackle down to the 15-yard line. Peel had a shot at him, got by his tackle and picks up a first down at the 15-yard line. Hilliard only needs 120 yards to join the 1,000-yard club. Next Sunday, join us again on ESPN starting at 11:30 Eastern with Game Day. We'll preview everything in the NFL. Then primetime, 7 o'clock, we'll review all the day's action, highlights, scores, controversy, whatever. And then a huge game in the NFC Central. 8 o'clock Eastern, the Bears and the Vikings from the Metrodome.
This one could redefine the black and blue division again.
It certainly could. It's been the most surprising division in football, I think. Toss to the fullback, Buford Jordan. Excuse me, Dalton Hilliard with Jordan in front of him. He picked up a couple. John Robinson has not had much success here in the Superdome. Hasn't been able to score too many points, and the Saints have handled the Rams very well.
Right now is when the Rams have got to do something different. They line up in that zone, and they're playing that bend, don't break defense. It's not working. They're going to have to bring the linebackers and the secondary people up and do something to upset the rhythm of the New Orleans Saints. There's how they rank inside the 20.
Hilliard to the 9. Flag comes in very, very late. Green was in on the stop along with Alvin Wright. Will check the penalty. And this will go against New Orleans.
Holding, number 85 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Tight end Hobie Brenner. He's one of the keys to the running game. If you don't have a good blocking tight end, you simply can't run the ball very
Right,
well.
the New York Giants proved that with Mark Rivaro, and Hobie Brenner's another one here. The Redskins have done it with Donnie Warren. There he is, gets his hands inside, and you see his left hand? Once your body gets away and all of a sudden it's exposed, then you got a real problem.
2nd and 17 now. 11:37 to go, first half of play. Bobby Hebert has to hustle it up a little bit. Play clock down to 8. Now he'll have to use a timeout. 11.5 minutes to go, first half. Saints with a 7-0 lead. ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Isuzu, the first car builders of Japan. By Econo Lodges of America, spend a night, not a fortune. And by the good time, great taste of McDonald's. The Saints have the football at the Ram 22, but it's 2nd and 17. New Orleans already up 7-0.
That was the reason why Bobby Hebert called the timeout is because they couldn't get the substitution in from the sidelines, and here he is getting late back onto the field again. Now he's going to have to hurry up and call something.
Play clock already, now they've reset it.
There it goes. Now it's at 30 seconds. They were looking for it. See, they had to wait till Hebert got back in to start it. But that last timeout would really be one charge to the bench because they didn't get the substitution in time. And you just got to be frugal using your timeouts.
Bill Hawkins, number 70 into the Rams lineup. The rookie out of Miami. Rams show blitz. Come with only 3. Hebert dumps it off to Hilliard. Not much there. Wilcher hit him first, and then Strickland came over to mop up. Strickland's one of those guys who's got everything. Speed, size, instincts to play the game. Just a terrific player out of Purdue.
A lot of times he plays over the nose, drops back out. We've seen the Rams drop 9 back into coverage, just rush the 2 defensive ends. Now, that's even more of a problem for a quarterback because a lot of times you're looking for somebody to put pressure on you, not having all those shirts to throw through.
Saints are the best in the league on 3rd and long, and they face 3rd and 14 here. Same formation they got the touchdown on. 3 wide receivers to the far side. Turner couldn't hold it. Turner had it, took a real shot. Newsome and Anthony Newman were both back there, and Turner is still down. He was blasted. And there's a flag down. Oh, what a shot Turner took.
There you see the ref talking to Kevin Green. So what they're going to do is they're going to decide whether to take this penalty and move him back out of what might be field goal range, or
Holding, number 67 of the offense. The penalty is declined.
They took
4th
the
down.
what was the or decline it. Hebert puts this one exactly where he wants to, reads the coverage. Now Turner's running up the seam in the zone, thrown a little bit behind him. Yeah, he gets his hands open. We saw before on the one up the field he missed, he had his hands apart, the ball went through. The other one on this one, his hands were a little bit apart. There you see the right side of your screen. Stan Brock hanging on to Kevin Green. It's a good throw. It's away from the defender. But,
Vince Newsome just crushed him.
Oh. I'll tell you, when you're a quarterback, you get one in, you want it in there. When you know you make the right throw and you know you make the right read.
So Morton Anderson comes on. He'll try a field goal. When we come back, it's already 7-0 New Orleans. Floyd Turner able to leave the field under his own power. It looks like he'll be fine after that crunching hit in the end zone.
And you know, I don't necessarily agree with refusing this penalty, because now Morton Anderson's going to take a shot at a 36-yard field goal. It was 3rd down and 14 anyway. You back him up 10. You got a chance for an interception, a possible fumble recovery. It's going to be 3rd down and 24. The likelihood of a touchdown isn't necessarily that great. So I would think percentages would have been in your favor to take the penalty.
John Forcade, the holder. Anderson has had a good year, but not a Morton Anderson year. He makes this and is now 15 out of 20 on the season, and the Saints have taken a 10-0 lead. Anderson, the most accurate kicker in the history of the National Football League, ahead of Mick Lowry and Gary Anderson.
Yeah, Morton Anderson year would have been 15 for 15, or, you know.
College game day, Saturday at 11:30. Bob Bino and Lee will update us on everything going on in college football, and now it's a wide open race, and the bowls will mean so much more this season.
Still think Notre Dame has a shot at being #1, but now again, so does Miami.
Colorado, Alabama, Texas A&M will be our game at 4 o'clock, followed by Florida State against Florida, and Florida State still has a shot, even though they lost too early. They may be the best team in football right now, certainly the hottest. They've played brilliantly since those losses.
And considering how well they played against Miami, and Miami has proven again, you know, they belong in the top 1, 2, or 3.
Rams defense working on the sideline. Fritz Shurmur talking to his guys.
Fritz Shurmur's a name that's come up quite often in the Phoenix job. He was right behind Carson in Cleveland. He, you know, was a runner-up to the job in Phoenix before Gene Stallings got it. He'd like a shot at a head coaching job.
I think he deserves it, too.
Yeah, I do. I think, you know, a lot of times they overlook the defensive coordinators, but really, they're the guys that build your football team. That's where championships are won, is on defense.
Del Pino and Brown are deep. Brown 7 yards in the end zone. He'll touch it down. Last scoring drive, only 25 yards, took nearly 5 minutes off the clock, and Anderson with a 36-yard field goal has made it 10-0. So the Rams have to start at their own 20-yard line, and they have not done a very good job offensively in this building.
I think at times you give the defense too much credit, and they may be giving them too much credit to stop the run.
Bell is the tailback. Everett on first down to McGee, almost intercepted. Jackson knocked it away. Mills almost picked it off. Excellent coverage by Ricky Jackson.
Ricky Jackson knows exactly what he wants to do. There you see the left side of your screen. This ball gets tipped at the line of scrimmage. It gives Ricky Jackson a chance to make a play on it. Buford McGee very lucky just to get a hand on it and knock it away. There's a normal face guard. Now that's Pat Swilling's face mask. There's Ricky Jackson with all the additional hardware.
In a terrible automobile accident earlier this year. Bell, no chance. Vaughn Johnson stepped into the gap and brought him down. And the Saints are throttling the Rams.
I think the Rams, what it looks like to me, Mike, is the Rams are figuring they want to throw the ball short. They've gotten out of what they do well. On this play, they try and run off tackle. But hey, you got those linebackers wiping off inside. Vaughn Johnson making the play. I think with Flipper Anderson and Aaron Cox, you got to stretch it out a little bit. You got to make the Saints think deep and then go short.
Greg Bell, 4 carries, 5 yards, and they love defense in New Orleans. Comes the blitz. Swilling almost got there. Anderson made the catch. Look out. The guy can fly. Waymer held him up. He got to the 40-yard line. Flipper Anderson, who leads the league, averaging more than 30 yards a catch, just got 43 on that one.
Sometime a little bit of luck will go a long way. Everett's looking downfield. He said Swilling comes in hard from the right side. I don't think he's throwing that ball to Willie Anderson. I think he's throwing it to Del Pino, who's in front. But as it turns out, Anderson winds up with it, and when you're a quarterback laying on the ground, you don't care who's got the ball as long as it's one of your guys. Look at Swilling take the corner on Irv Pankey. That's what he said he'd do.
Everett to throw on first down, too high. He had his tight end, Damone Johnson, over the middle. And about 2 feet too high. After that last catch by Anderson, you look back at the playing time he did not get last year. It's because he was not all that serious in practice. And offensive coordinator Ernie Zampese is not the kind of a guy who's going to say, well, he's a gamer, we'll give him a shot. You have to show it in practice, and this year he's done it.
That's exactly right. He's learned to be a professional.
And look at those receptions. 6 over 40 yards. 2nd and 10. Bell never had a chance. Vaughn Johnson, Dave Waymer, and a host of others. Wayne Martin, 93, got over there.
You cannot run wide on the New Orleans Saints defense. They've got too much speed at linebacker, and they're just going to fill holes. Sam Mills just hides behind the big guys up front. Jackson turns it into his buddies, and then here comes Vaughn Johnson and company.
Sam Mills down there on the bottom of the pile holding on a leg.
And Pat Swilling says, wait a second, I need my picture taken too as a part of the package.
These guys can play. 3rd and 8. Everett unloads in a hurry. Anderson, first down. Pushed out of bounds by Waymer at the 22-yard line. He got away from Massey. A gain of 17.
Everett's not going to have a lot of time to throw, but once he sets his back foot and delivers it, this is what he's able to do. Anderson does a good job. Massey breaks on the ball as well, but Anderson comes back to the ball. And there he just does the old loop around and decides it's better to go out of bounds and come back for another play than take Dave Waymer on head-to-head.
Anderson will be the primary target because Henry Ellard, who's wearing the cap, is out with a pulled muscle in his leg. He leads the league in yardage. Everett on first down. Throwing deep and overthrown. Waymer couldn't hold it. Caught it out of bounds. Intended for Anderson, but Waymer had great position on it.
Dave Waymer told me earlier in the week, he said, I'm going to play deeper than I normally play so that I can close on the ball. There he is keeping an eye on Everett's shoulders. Now he has a shot at it. There's one bobble, 1 foot in, and obviously out of bounds.
Nice call by the official. Great effort by Waymer. Waymer has had his career resurrected by the movement to free safety.
He says he gets a chance to see everything from there. Studies 5 games back on every team, end zone and sideline.
Duval Love in at right guard for the Rams on 2nd and 10. Del Pino, Vaughn Johnson brought him down as he got to the 13-yard line. The Rams have scored 1 touchdown in their last 4 games in the Superdome, and that was a replacement game. The last touchdown they scored other than that replacement game, Jeff Kemp to Ron Brown.
And who was the guy who was chasing him around again? Pat Swilling. That time Newberry does a good job keeping Swilling out of the rush. I mean, he's he deserves the same respect as a Lawrence Taylor, obviously. Ronnie back in New England, Andre Tippett. I mean, they're all those weak side linebackers.
3rd and 2, and Bell will lose 2. Dave Waymer up from the safety.
Waymer's up in the line. There he comes. You see him just sneak up late on the left side of your screen. Just jumps through where the tackles are. Makes the play.
Lansford, who has hit 17 out of 20 field goals this year, is on to try one from 32 yards. And he puts the Rams on the board. Los Angeles has cut the lead to 7, 10-3. A lot of us around ESPN can't wait for spring because that means baseball, and you can see it all on ESPN beginning next year. Hard to believe next year's 1990, isn't it?
I know. Where did all the other years? Where did the 80s go?
Henry Ellard on the sideline, cheering his teammates on. Flipper Anderson sitting in front of him. Rams kicking off. Taken by Rod Harris. Big haul up the middle. Flag is down, and so is Harris at the 35. Will check the penalty. Jerry Gray made the tackle.
You know, really, that's one advantage, Mike, that a team has that's playing the Saints. With Morton Anderson kicking the ball in the end zone so often, nobody returns it. You can't get penalties like this. I mean, the Saints don't have the fortune to go against guys like that.
Holding, number 51, on the return, 10 yards, first down.
See, the Saints get a return, and most of the time, like on every return in the league, they wind up with a penalty.
There's Anderson, the weapon on not only field goals and points after, but on the kickoffs. Brett Farinez is the guilty party, number 51. Now, he's the man that was being held. So they'll move it back to the 14-yard line, and Hebert and company will start from there. There's Farinez describing what happened to him. Hebert with time, far sideline, complete to Martin. Martin up to the 28-yard line. It will be a first down.
We saw Bobby Hebert on that particular play audibilize and make a change at the line of scrimmage. Now that's one advantage that Hebert has being home here in the Dome that Everett doesn't, because he can't communicate, too much noise.
The penalty will go against the Rams for defensive holding. Pass already gave them a first down at the 28-yard line.
Holding, number 28 of the defense. The penalty is declined. First down.
Clifford Hicks, who was injured earlier and has come back into the ball game. Rams lost Alvin Wright, their nose man, for a while. They had to take him to the locker room for x-rays on his left calf. Now he's back. John Robinson trying to find a way for his defense to stop New Orleans. Hebert with a pump, and Wilcher got him from behind. He unloads, but they'll whistle the play dead. Mike Wilcher, the 7-year veteran out of North Carolina, gets his 5th sack of the season.
Well, what the Rams are doing is they're giving Hebert one look, then they're jumping around and confusing him a little bit. Here, he wants to go outside wide. He makes the pump, but Wilcher, who's really a pass rusher, that's his role on this football team, is to get to the quarterback. He's not asked to drop into coverage very often, and he did his job. He went after the quarterback. But what the Rams are trying to do now is they figure, okay, we can't line up in this zone. We'll just give Bobby a bunch of different looks and make him think.
Wilcher got around rookie left tackle Kevin Haberdink, who they feel is going to be an excellent player in time. On 2nd and 13, they'll give it up the middle of Buford Jordan. Back near the original line of scrimmage. Bottom of the pile, Mike Peel, number 95.
The Saints very seldom wind up in 3rd and long. This is not a favorite for anybody, but New Orleans, they want to work from 3rd down and 4, 5, and 6. They feel very good about converting it. They're 4th in the league in 3rd down conversions because they have the short yardage all the time. Nobody makes a high percentage of 3rd and longs.
And their passing game is not set up to go deep.
They don't throw the wide receivers a whole lot.
2 wide outs to the near side, now make it 3. And Hill goes wide right. Four-man rush, Hebert with time. Perriman couldn't hold it. Coming up to get a hand on it, possibly Anthony Newman. And the Saints will have to kick it away.
They're asking Brett Perriman to do something he just doesn't like to do. He's the outside guy on the right part of your screen. He's a speed guy. He's not real excited about coming across where everybody can come in and knock your head off like happens there. He'd much rather go down 15, 18 yards and come across the middle where there are less unfriendlies located.
Barnhart into punt to Darrell Henley. An exciting punt returner. He had 3 touchdown returns in his career at UCLA on punts. Beautiful kick by Barnhart. Henley signals fair catch all the way back. It is 23, a 49-yard boomer and no return. If you joined us late, we're at the Superdome in New Orleans, and here's the storyline. The Rams simply unable to rush the football. Bobby Hebert, a good first half so far. Anderson for the Rams, 4 catches, 85 yards, and the Rams have had lousy field position. This time they'll take over at their own 23-yard line.
I still got to believe they've got to try and stretch it up the field a little bit with Anderson as well as Cox.
Anderson and Cox both to the near side. Del Pino put his head down and got across the 25-yard line. Jim Wilkes, the nose man. First guy there. Wilkes, a great technician, had been a defensive end all of his career. They made him a nose man. He didn't want to do it.
Who would?
Now seems to be very happy. That's right.
Who would, unless you're built that way? I mean, unless you're built real stocky and small. Here's a guy who's 6'5". He's 3 inches too tall to be a nose man.
And only 266. Normally, nose guys 275 and up. But he's done a nice job for them, especially against the run. Under pressure, Everett unloads, incomplete. Toy Cook out there right on top of Damone Johnson.
Saints are just not buying the run fakes. I mean, they don't even break stride. When he makes a play action fake, they ignore it completely because they figure they've got it covered with everybody else. So somebody's always in Everett's face.
Jim Everett with some pretty decent numbers. You see them right there, but they've produced only a field goal. Sometimes those numbers can be deceiving, and they are in this one. Fast moving. First 2 periods of play, 3:18 to go in the half. Comes the blitz. Everett with time. Anderson. Contact with Massey, no flag.
Well, they went up the field with it. That time Everett just couldn't set in the pocket and throw. The big thing about pocket passers is you want to get a push up inside with your tackles. That's why the center and the 2 guards have to do a good job. Flipper just goes flying by Massey, and he's gone. But this ball is going to wind up being underthrown, and you know, I think that's pass interference. I got to be honest with you. He doesn't really make a play on the ball. He does after contact.
Hatcher just got it out of there. Harris waits at the 28. Trying to get outside and gets it back to the 36-yard line. 7-yard return after a punt of 46. Anthony Newman downfield to make the tackle.
Watch the left side of your screen. Floyd Turner with the airmail. Just comes out. You know, one thing I used to do that. I returned kicks. I blocked for kick return guys. I really felt sorry for the guy that I blocked for, let me tell you. But you're supposed to lay out with your hands flat, not high in the air trying to swat it, but straight out in the air so that the ball hits your hand. You don't have to try and reach for it.
The guys you blocked for are now in a home somewhere. Rams ball at the 36. Hilliard up to about the 38. Rams said they forfeited the first game, did not play well at all when they were beaten 40-21, and that's what Kevin Green says they want to do in this one. Come right down here and punch them in the face.
Yeah, that's one of those bulletin board things. You know, what coaches do is they cut stuff out like that and they post it up on their team's bulletin boards to get them just a little bit more excited. Not that this rivalry needs any more fuel to it.
The Saints have landed more punches so far. It's 2nd and 7 New Orleans. Rams show blitz, and here they come. Hebert crunched at the 30. Kevin Green, the first man there, then Strickland finished him off.
Oh, yeah, but Strickland put the hit on him. Green had him by the legs, and Strickland just flat nailed him in the back. There's a punch in the face for you. Kevin Green coming around the outside. Now, what happens here is Hebert takes a play-action fake and just gets deeper, but there's a shot that really nails him. He may not feel that one today, but he'll feel it tomorrow.
Strickland, 250, got a perfect shot on the quarterback. We've come to 2 minutes at the Superdome, and the Saints lead the Rams 10-3. 2 minutes to go, first half. Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann. Glad you could join us on a Sunday night on ESPN. It's been the kind of game we expected. What's the hat?
The hat is an attaboy hat. Now, as well as game balls, Coach Moore gives out attaboy hats for a job done. If you didn't quite earn the game ball, he'll give you one of these attaboy hats, and the guys get to wear them around. He used to give away ugly T-shirts. Nobody would wear them. So now he's giving them hats, and the guys decided that this is okay. They'll wear them.
Jim Mora's team now facing a 3rd and 15 from their own 30-yard line. Blessings to everyone. Now this guy's into it.
That's right, the Lone Ranger. Everybody wondered where he went. Came down here to root for the Saints.
I'll bet this is one of the guys that used to wear a bag on his head down here, too.
That's right.
Straight 4-man rush. And Hebert somehow got out of it. Now they'll whistle the play dead and say Hebert was in the grasp and control back at the 21, and he doesn't like it.
Well, we talked about the fact, one thing about an offense that is geared to block for a guy who gets rid of the ball quick, the linemen have the clock in their head. Now watch this QB time release. They've got a clock in their head around 2 seconds for Bobby Hebert. He goes past that. It throws the timing off of the offensive line as well as himself. And like we said, the Saints, I don't care who you are as a quarterback, you don't want 3rd down and 14s and 3rd down and 10s because percentages are not in your favor.
Bill Hawkins will get credit for that sack. The rookie out of Miami, the top draft choice, and Henley waits at the 40. The Rams should have excellent field position here. Clock running with 1:33 to go in the half. Not as good a kick this time by Barnhart. Taken on the bounce to the 40. Henley got it back to the 45 and got out of bounds. 5-yard return after a punt of only 38. Buford Jordan was there to make sure he didn't go any further. Coming up at halftime, Chris Berman will have halftime highlights. Our premier of the men who played the game will look at the Rams' Roman Gabriel, and Joe Theismann will have his analysis of the first half action here. Do not know what the crowd reaction is.
I'll show you the reaction. What happens is Henley calls for a fair catch. Watch his hand go up. See? He's signaling fair catch, which means that you can't advance the ball. The problem is the ball hit the ground, so all bets are off. But the fans don't appreciate that. They don't like it at all.
And that saved the Rams, heaven knows how much in yardage. And now right tackle Jackie Slater moved a little early, and the flags come down. Oh, that ball, the way it was bouncing forward, could have gone another 15, 20 yards.
Henley did the right thing, but you have to catch it in the air. I mean,
No foul. Due to crowd noise. No foul. First down.
well, they're not going to like that either, I'll tell you.
You thought you had crowd noise before. Look at Jim Mora.
Remember, this is the place that started it all. Boomer aside, I bet you Boomer's sitting home tonight going, yeah, I started this whole thing. Put that little notch in my belt. Nobody's sneaking around behind benches.
Crowd noise rule that may come into effect before we're done here.
Of course, Jim Finks is going to be head of the competition committee, and maybe he will use a intelligent head to get rid of this rule.
Referee lets the play go. Everett throwing for Ron Brown. Troy Cook on coverage. This Saints secondary has done a good job, and a reworked secondary it is.
Everett did the right thing, though. When you get a crowd getting screaming and yelling, the best thing you can do is get up to the line of scrimmage, run a play quick. It just doesn't throw the rhythm of your team off.
Here is what the noise rule says for this year. The first time the referee stops it because of noise, he asks the defensive captain to keep everybody quiet. Then he'll ask the crowd himself. Then the team will lose a timeout, or if they don't have any of those left, he'll penalize them 5 yards. Everett sacked. Everybody got there. Frank Warren, Pat Swilling.
Frank Warren, number 73, comes from the inside, but Everett is very, very aware of Pat Swilling coming from the left side. Now watch the left side. He knows Swilling's out there, and Warren comes in and gets his hand on him. You know, Warren, in high school, at 250, he used to run a 10-300.
It's amazing.
Incredible.
3rd and 17 for the Rams, 55 seconds to go in the half clock running. Quick out, intercepted, picked off by Massey. Massey, touchdown. Hold it, they'll call it back. They will call the play back, saying Massey was down by contact when he made the interception.
All that has to happen is the wide receiver touch him, whether it's a foot, a finger, anything, and he will be considered down. Moore didn't think he was down. Everett makes the throw, trying to hit Cox. Now Massey makes the catch. Right there, the question is you can't quite tell whether Aaron Cox hits him or he doesn't hit him. There's another look at it. Again, hard to tell whether his hand hits him at all or anything. In all honesty, there's the eye. Now there's the contact right there. He's coming off. His thigh rubs against Cox's left arm. So it's a good call.
Down by contact. 40 seconds to go. Hebert almost picked off by Jerry Gray. That ball took a long time getting to Lonzell Hill.
Well, you think those hitches are safe plays. Now what we've seen is Everett throw one, get picked off. Now here Hebert almost gets one. Throwing to Mo Hill. Keeps it down low inside. Now Gray just breaks on it. Oh, and he's got a shot at it. Just sneaks through.
The replay booth did look at the Massey interception and confirmed that there was contact on the play. 36 seconds to go in the half. See if the Saints can convert that break. Hebert dumps it, and right there, Strickland all over Eric Martin.
Somehow you just know that the Saints are not, especially when you scare them off on a wide, they try and throw a short pass to a wide receiver, they'll come back and go inside. They try and stretch the defense. Now you see Jordan just duck down inside, and then Martin come across. And this is something that Fritz Shermer said. He said, I'm going to play Strickland and I'm going to play Kelm in the middle because they know how to handle the short crossing routes by the inside receivers of the Saints.
3rd down with 32 seconds left. And Hebert will go to the shotgun from the Ram 44. Hebert for Perriman, and right with him was Leroy Irvin. Perriman, their fastest receiver, could not beat Irvin that time. The ball was overthrown anyway.
And Leroy Irvin on a sore ankle that still bothers him. This ball is just overthrown. Little incidental contact, ball thrown down the field. Bobby Hebert, normally an exceptionally deep, good thrower.
Barnhart will come on to punt on 4th and 10 with 26 seconds to go. Crowd wanted the Saints to go for it.
Rams got to consider themselves very lucky to get out of that turnover without any points going against them.
Henley goes back with Irvin at the 10. Fair catch signaled for, and just got into the end zone. Great effort by the Saints special teams. They couldn't keep it out. Brett Maxey got a hand on it, couldn't knock it back onto the field of play. So the Rams get it back with 16 seconds to go. That's the first touchback this year for Barnhart punting.
Coaches spend a long time in practice. They'll spend 10, 15 minutes before practice having players run down and field it. Now Maxey sees actually it would have been a touchback anyway because his foot went into the end zone. And that's all you have to do is go into the end zone. If you hit it, it doesn't matter. But still, it was a great effort.
Maxey, a backup defensive back. Rams take over at the 20. 16 seconds to go. They have all of their timeouts, and it looks like they're just going to kill the clock. John Robinson decides he'll go to the locker room down 7 and talk it over, trying to come back and regroup in the third quarter in a critical NFC matchup between the Rams and the Saints. And right now, the Saints lead the Rams 10-3. That's the end of the first half. Ready to start the third quarter at the Superdome in New Orleans. You're watching the Saints and the Rams on ESPN. The Saints were the only touchdown of the ball game. Field goals offsetting each other, and the Rams will kick off to start the third quarter. 65,000 fans here. There is Lansford. He'll do the honors. You know, people here in New Orleans have been a little short-tempered with the Saints this year, and they really have some short memories. It wasn't so long ago that they called these guys the Aints.
Well, you know, I think it goes back to the last couple games. They haven't thrown a lot of passes in the second half of their 2 previous games, and the people want to be entertained as well as one.
Harris got it back to the 20-yard line. Take a look at the first half stats.
Well, one jumps out at you, doesn't it?
10
rushing yards. And really, the Rams aren't even surprised at that. They would hope to do a little bit better. But obviously, rushing yards is, you know, they're not going to do it. It's the bottom line.
3 sacks by the Rams, 2 by the Saints in the time of possession. Something the Saints are really interested in. They kept it 17:03 in the first half.
You got to figure. The other guy doesn't have the ball. They can't score.
Hilliard, the deep man in the eye. Hebert under pressure from Green, and it's intercepted by Miller. Hit him right in the chest. Sean Miller with the interception, and Hebert really upset. Green came around from the left side, put pressure on Hebert, and Miller made a heck of an interception.
What's happening is when the Saints go to any kind of play action, it causes Hebert to set deeper than he normally sets. Now, here comes Green around the corner. Stan Brock does a good job. He runs him off the cup. But the problem is that it's taken just a little bit too long. He comes so hard. See him come around the corner? He just gets around, hits it, and Sean Miller, that one went down his armpit. That was an armpit catch.
If they lose another wide receiver, they ought to think of Miller. Bell, one of the few holes he's had all night. Bell gets it all the way down to the 8-yard line. Frank Warren made the tackle. First time in his career that Sean Miller has picked one off. And Hebert, who threw 4 last week, has another one tonight. The Rams, after takeaways, have done a great job this year. Second in the league at converting. Greg Bell now, 7 carries, 12 yards. Second and 3. Del Pino into the ballgame at tailback. Broke it outside, stopped close to the 6-yard line, and he has to get just inside the 6 for a first down.
Not Bobby Hebert's fault. You have to know Bobby Hebert a little bit to know how much that upsets him. He works so hard on taking care of his responsibility. The worst thing that, you know, he hates the uncontrollable in a ball game. That was an uncontrollable interception.
It is a first down for the Rams as they spot the ball inside the 6, first and goal. Everett getting the play from the sideline.
This is where it's really going to get tough for the Rams. You know, they run the ball to get down here a couple of plays, but it doesn't get any easier down this close.
Anderson, the single wide receiver, goes right. McGee, the fullback, bouncing off tacklers down to the 2. Big offensive line he's running.
You brought up something very interesting our last game, Mike. We saw in the last football game with the Indianapolis Colts, giving the ball to the first guy when you're down close, when you get those linebackers coming up high, wanting to hit the second ones. We see this right here. Get the fullback into that body mass, let their offensive lineman create a little bit of a wedge and see if he can find his way and just really creep and lean towards the end zone.
And this is a veteran offensive line. Bell, he'll try to go wide. Very close to the goal line, only inches away. Maxey, Mills.
We talked to John Robinson yesterday, and the one thing that John said, he said what scares him most and what his offense has to do is they have got to make 3rd and 1s, and they have got to score inside the 5 if they're going to beat the Saints. They got both of them right here, right now.
The full package inches away on 3rd and goal. And Everett wants to throw. Takes the sack at the 6-yard line. Jackson and Mills in his face. They tried to cross them up on 3rd and inches, and nobody there.
Boy, if somebody told you that John Robinson on 3rd down and 6 inches would throw the football, they'd have to think that you weren't talking about the same John Robinson that coaches in the National Football League. Excellent job of defense by the Saints. Everett's got nowhere to go, and you're not going to see the blade run very far, and he doesn't. He goes down to protect the ball.
So Lansford will try a field goal from 22 yards. And he missed it. May have been partially blocked. The Saints, number 1 against the run in the NFL. Maybe that's why they passed. Jim Wilkes blocked Lansford's 22-yard field goal attempt. So the spread remains 7 with 11:37 to go in the 3rd quarter, and the Rams come up empty after creating a turnover of their own. Dalton Hilliard got a seam and picked up maybe 3. Let's go back and take a look at that block kick.
Watch the right side of your screen. Jim Wilkes, number 94, is going to slide through on the inside. And a really good shot. You see him sneak through the seam. He gets through on Tony Slayton. That big palm goes up and swats the ball away. Swats it just a little bit to the left. Had enough impetus to go through, but Wilkes steers it outside. And Coach Mora loves it as well.
The Rams must hate coming to this building. In 5 games, they don't have a touchdown except for the replacement game. Hebert with another very long signal count, gives it to Hilliard. Moves the pile forward to about the 25-yard line. Mike Peel, the first man in on the tackle.
What the Rams are doing is when the Saints come to the line of scrimmage, they're giving them one look. And then as Hebert starts his cadence, and a quarterback does this, you look around and you look, and all of a sudden Strickland jumps in, Strickland jumps out, Kelm moves over, they kick a tackle down. Now your mind starts thinking and saying, oh gosh, they're taking away the play I really wanted to run, or do I have to audible? What the Saints are doing now on offense is they're thinking instead of playing.
And they face the 3rd and 5. Hebert with 4 wide receivers goes short to Martin. Martin loose at midfield. Irvin drove him out of bounds at the Ram 47-yard line, a gain of 29. That short passing game, and with receivers like Martin, it can turn into a big play.
At 3rd and 5 and 36, there isn't anybody better than Bobby Hebert. Martin does a nice job. Oh boy, he gets Anthony Newman to move his feet and then just ducks inside. Bobby Hebert gets rid of it real quick, and there's one tackle missed by Newman, another one by Gray, another by Newsome. Finally, Leroy Irvin's hanging down the field a mile, and he knocks him out of bounds.
Big play for the Saints. Gets the ball into Rams territory and keeps the drive alive. And momentum is all in their favor right now. Rams show blitz and come. And Hebert got it from behind. Mike Peel, the right tackle, his 4th sack.
Bobby Hebert comes up limping a little bit. You'll see his right knee get a shot at it. They do run the trick inside. There comes Strickland around, and there goes the knee a little. It's one reason why players hate AstroTurf. Bam! There goes the right knee right down in.
And Peel, the 3rd-round draft choice a year ago out of Illinois, picks up a sack. It's the 4th for the Rams. 2nd and 17. Delay to Hayward, and he fell down. Craig Hayward gets into the ball game for the first time as a running back, took the handoff and fell flat on his face, and now a flag comes down as we have more pushing and shoving downfield. Joel Hilgenberg, the center, and Alvin Wright, the nose man. And we'll check the penalty.
This one goes against the Rams. It could be the most critical of the game, because the Saints would wind up with 3rd down and 18.
We have offsetting penalties. 99 of the white, personal foul. 67 offense, personal foul. Penalties offset. 2nd down.
Well, they're both about the same size, so I figures it offsets.
Wright and Brock are called for the fouls.
There they are. There's number 99. There's number 61. They meant number 61, not Brock.
Hilgenberg.
There's one. There's a little shove.
So Stan Brock unduly accused. It's 3rd and 20 from the 44. Hebert unloads. He's got Turner down there. Couldn't hold it. Henley caught up and got a piece of it.
Bobby Hebert just unloaded it. If it was intercepted, it would have been as good as a punt, but you can't ever get a quarterback to believe that. Darrell Henley does an excellent job of timing his leap. Boy, Turner has his hands on it once, twice, and just gets away from him.
A catchable ball, and Turner could not come up with it. Barnhart to punt, and Henley waiting inside his 20. Oh, what a kick by Barnhart. He killed it. Bounces out of the end zone. Punt of 56 yards to net 36 as they'll start at the 20. So the Saints, with 8:33 to go in the quarter, still lead by a touchdown. It's been a tough night for Floyd Turner. He has had 3 almosts, including a touchdown that he couldn't hold in the end zone. The last play, he got his hands on it and couldn't hold it. And some of the sellout crowd here in New Orleans.
Little guy's trying to find Floyd Turner. He says, there he is, right there. Right in the picture, Mom, look.
So the Rams avoid falling further behind and have it at their own 20. 8:33 to go, 3rd quarter. End around, Ron Brown. Got a great block on the outside. The fans thought it was a clip, but it looked like a beautiful block by Buford McGee. Got his head in front of Ricky Jackson.
Ron Brown's had more rushes than he has receptions. There's the reverse. They try and get those linebackers flowing. They just don't bite. Ricky Jackson stays home. 2 nice jobs. It's not a clip because he got his head and shoulders in front. Threw himself down to the carpet to make the block.
Ron Brown has been unable to break one of those this year in spite of his great speed. Everett, the quick out to Anderson, across the 30 to the 31. Toy Cook took him out of bounds. It will be a 1st down for the Rams.
The Rams are most effective offensively when Everett can get into the huddle, get out, call a play, and run a play. You get a rhythm as a quarterback. Hebert had it in that long drive in the first half. Now Everett has it now. He comes out, he walks in, he makes a call, he breaks the huddle, he gets to the line of scrimmage. That's the rhythm you want to get in.
Flipper Anderson, 5 catches. That's a season high, 91 yards. That's under his league-leading average of 30 a shot. Everett again out to Del Pino, and Del Pino is decked by Robert Massey. Good job of hanging on to the ball. Massey is an impressive-looking rookie corner. And he's the reason they were able to move Dave Waymer to safety.
There's a look-see at the Polaroids on the bench. Steve Trapello taking a look at him. He wants to know, what he wants to know is where they're lining up on defense. These are snapped just as the ball is snapped so they can see the movements and the stunts that are going on up front.
2nd and 7, Greg Bell, absolutely nothing. Boy, good job by Jim Wilkes and Ricky Jackson inside.
Swilling and Del Pino going at it a little bit. We haven't called Swilling's name tonight, and it's because Irv Pankey's doing a real good job on him. And anytime that you're the featured pass rusher and a sack artist, and you can't get to the quarterback, it gets more and more frustrating as the game goes on.
Swilling with 13 and a half sacks, and he's gotten them all in the last 7 weeks. 3rd and 6. Draw play, Del Pino, 1st down and more. Del Pino all the way to the Rams' 48-yard line. Cook and Maxey were there to bring him down.
Watch the move that he puts on not only the Saints, but Rex Stewart, the umpire. Comes in, look at that move he puts on the umpire. I mean, that's unbelievable. He's just putting moves on everybody out there. Finally gets dragged down by Cook.
Del Pino may be a full-time player next year in the Rams backfield. John Robinson, a coach who thinks ahead to next week, next month, next year as much as anybody. And now Everett has to change the play and call a timeout. We have a timeout with 5:36 to go, 3rd quarter. Saints still on top by 7.
Well, this is the confusion that caused the timeout that Jim Everett had to call. Jackie Slater, number 78, is telling Tony Slayton something. Then he walks over, tells Everett something. Then he tries to go back over and play tackle. He's trying to tell everybody what to do up front, and he just can't do it.
1st and 10 Rams. Everett with time for Del Pino, knocked away by Toy Cook. The 3rd-year man out of Stanford knocked it away. He'd been a safety last year, wanted to go back to corner, felt much more comfortable over there.
Well, here he comes over to make the move on corner. Now, Del Pino's running up the sidelines. Toy Cook just gets over to bat it away. He didn't really have his head up, or else he'd have picked it off and gone down the sidelines.
Cook working at right corner, Massey, the rookie, at the left corner, the safety, Atkins and Waymer. And Jim Everett now 9 out of 21, 120 yards and an interception. Not one of his vintage nights. Fake to Bell. Pressure, Swilling from behind. Fumble. And now they indicate it's an incomplete pass. They said Everett's arm was moving forward. Oh, Swilling just flying toward the quarterback.
Well, you just can't run away. I mean, a tackle doesn't stand a chance when Swilling is on the move and you're rolling away. There you see Damone Johnson go down. Now, Tony Slayton and Greg Bell try and come out and block him. Matter of fact, the whole left side in help tries to block him. You could see Everett's arm was moving forward, and all it has to do is just start forward, and they're going to call it an incompletion. Of course, they don't like it in here.
Pat Swilling become the sack master of the South.
The human sack machine.
He's an intelligent young man out of Georgia Tech, very soft-spoken, well-spoken.
And he's healthy, and that's a big plus for the Saints.
He wasn't last year, and of course he was a late coming into camp this year, held out.
They're going to take a look at it just to make sure. But you see how his arm, he hits his arm, but now see how it comes forward? See how it comes, as soon as it starts to come forward, that's what happens. So you'll see, once he gets his arm started forward, they have to call it an incompletion. Even though he gets hit, see how it comes forward? Doesn't matter whether it looks pretty or not, as long as it's moving forward. And there's another look at it. There comes the arm forward, and the ball comes out.
They are checking it in the instant replay booth.
We were talking about Swilly, visiting with him. All through the off-season, he had to sit in 50-degree temperature water to treat
After
that
further
pulled
review,
stomach muscle.
the play stands. Third down.
Good call.
He said he was sick all during the off-season because he'd have to sit in this cold water. He said the thing he's most thankful for now is he can take hot showers and not have to worry about treating that stomach pull.
They've been bothered all year. 3rd and 10. Here comes the blitz. Cook, and Everett just had to throw it away. A corner blitz from Toy Cook. They've given Jim Everett a lot of different looks.
Well, they're coming after him. We said the Saints wanted to blitz him. They don't want to give him a chance to sit in the pocket and set his feet. He certainly hasn't had the opportunity to do that. Here's a reverse angle right down here. Number 41 comes right off the corner. There's nobody there. Everett sees him out of the corner of his eye and just tries to dump it off Del Pino.
Rod Harris awaits the punt inside the 10, makes the fair catch at the 9. A 42-yard punt, no return. 5:13 to go, and the third quarter, and the Saints still in control. New Orleans with a 7-point lead, 5:13 to go, third quarter. Jim Mora, John Robinson.
John Robinson had some interesting things to say regarding the 0-4 span of his ball club. He said, we didn't run the ball enough. That was my problem. And he said, this is the type of a game where you find out if your team's ready for a championship play. And he said, the big thing that we have to do is we have to get physical. We've started to, but we have to keep it up.
It has been a physical, low-scoring defensive game. Again, a long signal count by Hebert. Dalton Hilliard. Nice hole. Hilliard gets it out to the 13-yard line. Strickland, the first man to hit him. You joined us late in the game. Here's how the scoring occurred. Martin with a catch, 19 yards from Hebert, 7-0. Then Morton Anderson made it 10-0 for the Saints, kicked a 25-yard field goal after an 8-play drive. And then the Rams able to answer on a 10-play drive as Lansford connected from 32. But the Rams have wasted a couple of other opportunities down deep. Hilliard again. Tries to get outside, turns the corner. Gray, the only one back, and knocks him down. Dalton Hilliard with a big sprint, 40 yards. His longest gain from scrimmage this year.
Left side of the Saints line. Number 82, John Tice, puts a block on Michael Stewart, number 23. Just ties him up long enough. The corner comes up, misses the tackle. Just a flat, cold miss by the corner. And Jerry Gray's left back there to save a touchdown run.
Dalton Hilliard with 93 yards tonight, 973 for the season. Fullback Buford Jordan will get a couple of tough yards down to the Rams' 43. Hilliard, who had one play off, will come back into the ballgame. Jordan still the fullback, even though Craig Hayward is on this ball club, and Hayward has simply not seen that much playing time for the New Orleans Saints. That, by the way, was the longest run of Dalton Hilliard's professional career, not only this season. Doesn't have the blazing speed, but he has the great moves, and he's closing in on 1,000. Hilliard with a toss. First down. As he bowls his way to the Ram 36, Mike Peel made the tackle.
Oh, yeah, well, what a great push by the left side of that Saints line. Dombrowski, Haverdink, and Hilgenberg, they just absolutely pushed the Rams back. 5 yards. He was 5 yards downfield before anybody gets a shot. Look at the left side. Watch that left side fire out. Hobie Brenner, look at that. Look at the crater he's running to. He's 5 yards downfield before he makes contact with a Ram.
Boy, you're right. Haberdink and Dombrowski really cleared it out over there. Now Hilliard at 100 yards for the night on 16 carries. Last week, 29 carries, 158 yards. And he wants the ball again, and he's got it. Ran right into Larry Kelm, one of the inside linebackers. And now we've got more pushing and shoving after the play.
It seems like when the Rams have got the Saints backed up, they're content to play some kind of a zone. And they sit back and they move Strickland in and out. And the Saints just blow them back for 50 yards. Then all of a sudden they get into their own territory like this. They get more of the linebackers closer to the line of scrimmage. And there you see the contact. Strickland just comes up and puts his face in Dalton's face and says, let's go at it. And now everybody else decides they want to go at it too.
2nd and 9, clock running, 2:13 to go, third quarter. Saints by 7, closing in on Morton Anderson field goal range. Hilliard behind Jordan, he wants to throw. Got a man wide open. Touchdown, Morton! What a great play call.
I'll tell you something. That's what happens when you can run the football. When you pound it in, pound it in, pound it in, the defense has to be more conscious. Eric Martin just goes coasting by the secondary. I mean, it was like Vince Newsom. He was going to come up and try and help out and support on the run. Martin just cruises into the end zone.
And Hilliard laid it right out there for him. Anderson for the point after. Dalton Hilliard with a pretty good quarterback rating this year, 1 out of 1 and a touchdown.
I'd have given anything to keep it. There it is right here. He's just going to come down and go this way. Dalton Hilliard's just going to come out. They do a good job up front of protecting him. Hilliard just stretches this out. Martin comes in like he's going to block the safety. There comes everybody. And there you see him going downfield. Dalton Hilliard takes his time. Nice form. Does a nice job laying it out on the fingertips. I mean, that didn't look like, if you saw that pass thrown, you wouldn't think that a halfback threw that. See the offensive line slide down the field, careful not to get down and be an ineligible receiver. And Vince Newsom, he's saying all kinds of things to himself at that point.
The Saints have 2 touchdown drives, both of 91 yards tonight. Perfect throw, perfect catch, and a perfect play call in that situation. Dalton Hilliard has gone over 100 yards and thrown for a touchdown pass. Not a bad night. That's his career throwing it. Those aren't bad stats.
I'll tell you, like I said, I'd give anything to wind up with stats like that.
Every completion, a touchdown. And now the Rams are in a 14-point hole. And remember, it's been 5 games since they've scored a touchdown in this building with a regular team. And Anderson knocks the air out of another. One of the crowd favorites down here. When you check the standings, this is how big this game is. San Francisco, the game we're concentrating on here in the West, San Francisco with a 9-2 record. But let us show you the wild card picture. Philadelphia at 8-4. The Rams would need to win tonight to catch them. If New Orleans wins, both the Rams and the Saints are 7-5.
But the big problem is New Orleans has a season sweep. They will have beaten the Rams twice, and that doesn't bode very well for them in the tiebreaker.
Everett with time to Del Pino. He'll gain 4, close to 5. Swilling was there to make the tackle. Rams have had awful field position. 7 of the 9 times they've had the ball tonight, they've been inside the 20-yard line. And it's very tough on any defense to drive it 80 yards, let alone these people.
Well, the other thing is, too, is this is a time when John Robinson is looking at his ball club and saying, all right, guys, we need some miracle plays. We need something big to happen. They almost pulled one out against Minnesota. They almost pulled one out against Buffalo. Now they just flat have to try and pull it out.
People jump early.
You're going to see movement by Jackie Slater, number 78, the right tackle. Just that little bit of rustling is going to cause the Saints to jump off sides.
False start. Number 78 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
And you will not see that guy make very many mistakes. 189
Watch the right side of your
games.
screen, number 78, Jackie Slater. There he is. See that move inside? Right there. Watch the move inside. There he goes. That movement tells the defense something's happening. It wasn't.
14-year veteran who has been to the Pro Bowl 5 of the last 6 years. The numbers on Jim Everett, 10 out of 24, only 125 yards and an interception. Here comes the blitz. Everett unloads. Trying for Anderson. Got him. That time he beat the rookie, Robert Massey, and what a throw by Everett to get it there.
Well, he throws this one. To give you an idea how strong Jim Everett's arm is. He throws this one off his back heel. But what he does is he hangs it up high in the air, and he gives Flipper Anderson a chance to run under it. Now, Massey's in good position, but Anderson just flat takes off and runs. Now, that ball is up a mile in the air, and it's dropping down. Anderson doing a great job of concentrating on Massey.
Flipper Anderson, 6 catches, 141 yards.
See, watch this. Watch how he's leaning back. See that? Look at how he's leaning back. He's not leaning into this ball. That gives you an idea how strong his arm is.
Henry Ellard not able to play tonight, so Anderson is the big play target. Everett to McGee, couldn't hold it at the 5. Just off his fingertips. Boy, and Everett knows he lost a chance for 6 there.
Well, he really does. He makes a great throw. What happens is he's looking to the right, and then he comes back here real quick, and he gets this one up the seam to McGee, and it's thrown the way it has to be.
Oh.
You know, it would have been a great catch. The ball was just a hair too far upfield. You don't think he's tough? Watch this. Look at Everett standing in there, and he just gets smashed.
Frank Warren destroyed him. 2nd and 10 with 44 seconds to go in the quarter. Little roll, this time screen back the other way to Damone Johnson, the tight end. And what a great job by Pat Swilling. He wasn't buying any of it.
Well, you talk about bad luck by the Rams. Swilling, 95% of the time, will be rushing. They saw what he did. This play was a result of the sack that he had on Everett before. He's got a lot of pressure. In this case, he doesn't rush. He goes back into pass coverage. They never would have expected that from him. They figured Damone Johnson out there by himself. Swilling makes a great play.
Right play at the wrong time. Gain of only 1, so it'll be 3rd and 9, but the Rams are going to let the clock run down, and time in the 3rd quarter will run out here at the Superdome in New Orleans. The Saints continue to lead the Rams. It's 17-3. Ready to start the 4th quarter here at the Superdome, 17-3, and the Rams have the ball at the Saints 30, 3rd and 9. It's almost 4-down territory at this point, isn't it?
It really is. I don't think they can afford to give the Saints back the ball. They control it so much. I mean, they control the ball 4 minutes longer than anybody else, and their opponents do. They can't afford to give it back and have them run an 8 or 9 play series for 9 minutes down the field.
Rams are only 4 of 11 on 3rd down tonight against this remarkable Saints defense. They turned in a great performance. Comes the blitz, and there goes Everett at the 40-yard line, and it was Vaughn Johnson. Came through untouched.
We said at the top what they wanted to do is they wanted to blitz him, and they certainly did. Watch this. 53, right side of your screen. Vaughn Johnson, he slides inside. There's nobody to block him. That's just a bad pickup, but you see what you're doing is you're asking a wide receiver to try and make a block, and it can't be done.
So Dale Hatcher has to come in and punt. They almost blocked it, and Hatcher shanks it off the side of his foot. Got the bounce anyway. It's touched, loose ball. Rams, touchdown.
It's going to be considered a muff, It'll be a muff. He did not have possession. It'll be considered a muff. They can't advance it, but great field position for the Rams.
Richard Brown, the linebacker, took it off the hands, but the muff cannot be advanced, so the Rams will get it inside the 10. Holy cow. Not a good decision by Rod Harris.
Watch. Rod Harris, I mean, he could have done anything but this. He's in, look, he's waving everybody away. He's waving everybody away, and then he tries to pick it up. Like he's got a pitcher's or a fielder's glove on.
Ossie Smith, he's not.
No, that's true. And, you know, the other thing is, too, is he's waving everybody away, get away from it, and then he instinctively tries to reach a hand out to stop it from going further.
Huge break for Los Angeles. First and goal from the 8. Del Pino the setback. He'll get the carry. Inside the 5. Now remember, the last time the Rams were down here, they got it to 3rd and inches and threw the ball after 2 runs. So what do you do on 2nd and 5?
I think you look for Pete Holohan. I got to be honest with you. He's a big play guy.
We haven't called his name all night.
Not at all. They haven't got him involved in the offense at all. I think down around the goal line, you got to figure that Vaughn Johnson and Sam Mills, they're good against the run, not necessarily that good against the pass. Let me work the guy who's an infighter. Let him bounce off him and make a play. That's where I'd go with it.
Holohan is lined up left and now comes in motion right. They'll give it to Del Pino on the ground. Flag is down. Del Pino dives again, just inches short, but will have to check the flag. The Rams lost a touchdown opportunity in the first quarter when they were called for holding. This time it's motion.
Illegal motion. The motion man moved too soon. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That's number 81, Pete Holohan. They said he moved too soon, which means when he was in motion, he turned upfield. And again, Mike, that's the advantage of playing here in the Superdome for the Saints. Everett's having trouble. You can't call audibles at the line of scrimmage. And also, if the motion men are running away from you, they can't see the ball and they can't hear you, so they have to guess when the cadence comes.
Move it back to the 10. It is still 2nd and goal. And every time it's an important situation, it seems that Del Pino is in there as the setback. This time the only running back is Buford McGee. Everett throws, and he threw it behind Damone Johnson, his tight end. 3rd and goal.
Well, they're working to the tight end here against the linebacker. Sam Mills will drop back into coverage. He's eyeing Damone Johnson. Johnson bounces off him. And this ball is, you're right, Mike, it was just flat thrown behind him. Everett had the opportunity, but, you know, that would have only given you 3rd down at the 4. Now they got to throw one in the end zone somehow.
You get the feeling from up here that the Rams must score here.
They must, but also, what do the Saints do? They blitzed them in the 3rd down last time. Do they drop back and play zone, or they come after it?
Del Pino on the draw. He lost a couple of yards. Frank Warren was right there. Tried to cross him up, and it didn't work.
Well, you know, Frank Warren just flat beats him off the ball. The Rams are throwing on 3rd and short and running on 3rd and long. Watch this, right off the ball. I mean, he doesn't stand a chance. Warren just takes a hard inside, and he's waiting for Del Pino right after he gets the ball. Now the Rams are forced into going for it on 4th down. I like this call, John Robinson.
John Robinson not even thinking field goal. He's down by 14. Here's what they have done on 4th down this year. 75%, and the crowd is in it.
And I'll guarantee a lot of them were a lot shorter than this.
Jim Everett says he can't hear. And the official will take a timeout to talk to him about it.
And
now, the referees have backed off on this a little bit this year.
A penalty flag also went down. The back judge threw a penalty flag. He's coming in to explain it.
I think he was looking at the play clock, which ran down to 0. I'm not sure if he was aware what Everett had done.
See, this is the discussion. The question is when Everett turned around to ask for help with the crowd noise, Does that count against him when he turns around or when it is acknowledged by the referee? That's something, to me, the whole rule is terrible. It stinks. It's stupid. It's dumb. And this is the problem you run into.
Now they are notifying the defensive captain, Sam Mills.
We have requested that the defensive team help us subside the disruptive crowd noise. There is no delay of game penalty. There is no penalty.
And that announcement always works real well, doesn't it?
Oh, it helps a lot. Sam Mills, their defensive captain, what they've done is they've gone over and said, help us out.
The Rams have had 7 plays inside the Saints' 10-yard line tonight. They have gained 6 yards on those 7 plays.
They made some calls, Mike, that I don't quite understand.
Here comes the crowd again. And they're actually quieter. Here comes Willie. In the last 8 weeks, Pat Swilling has been devastating.
John Robinson looking up at the replay. He's looking up in disbelief as well. Left side of your screen. Now, Swilling doesn't come around Panky. They have got a tight end over there blocking on him, Damone Johnson. And he eats Damone Johnson alive like you have Wheaties for breakfast, for crying out loud. Boy, Jim Moore is just getting some exceptional play from individuals today. Pat Swilling has won.
He has seen his team exceptional on defense. Dalton Hilliard gets it out to the 24.
This is a series that the Ram defense has got to stop the Saints offense. They cannot let them take the ball for 6 or 7 minutes, 8 minutes, which they're capable of doing down the field. They're a possession offense, and they can't let them do it.
The Saints have nearly half of the sacks against the Ram quarterbacks this year. Jim Everett has a 56 stenciled in the back of his jersey from Pat Swilling.
I think he's going to ask to have a piece of his helmet cut out so he can get a better look at him.
2nd and 5. Hilliard. Rams came hard on that one. A flag down. And it will be a hold against New Orleans. May be declined because they lost yards on the play.
No way. No way. You can't decline this. You can't give Bobby Hebert 3rd down and 6 or 7. I'd much rather have him go 2nd down and 15 than let him pick up 5 and let him line up at 3rd and 10. I think you got to set him back.
Holding, number 61 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
That's Joel Hilgenberg, the center.
See what you got to figure out who you're playing against. That's the whole thing is, okay, this is a 3rd down short conversion team. Let's throw them back if they want to run the clock down or make them throw. There you see the hole right there. See the left hand? The left hand you can't grab. As soon as you grab the jersey, it's sort of a giveaway that you're holding. It's just a little bit of a giveaway.
Got a hold of Mike Peel, who made a good move to get in the backfield. So it's 2nd and 15 now. Hilliard on the delay, and Wilcher was right there. Crowd did not like the play call, but up 17-3 at home with the momentum on your side, I don't know how you can criticize it a whole lot.
Well, that's what you think. You know, the whole thing is going the way I think the Rams coaches thought it would go. The Saints did precisely what they expected them to do. I mean, you know, this one's sort of scripted and going the way it's supposed to. Now the onus is to make Bobby Hebert put the ball up. You got to figure he's got to hold the ball longer because his receivers have to get downfield further for the 1st down. Advantage goes to the Rams defense.
3rd, call it 16. Hebert to the shotgun. Three-man rush. Hebert with time, deep sideline. Martin can't get his feet down in bounds.
That one worked out exactly the way the Rams wanted to. Now they have to make something happen on offense. And the onus is thrown back again on the Saints defense, who have risen to the occasion all night with great plays.
10-16 to go in the game, so there is plenty of time.
Here's a guy who's jumped out of the woodwork. I mean, Tom Barnhart, his average coming into this game was 34-2, and he's at 47 tonight.
Darrell Henley is back at the 45-yard line. Barnhart gets off another beauty. Henley signals fair catch, comes up to get it at the 40. A 47-yard punt and no return for Tommy Barnhart. We'll be back in a minute. 10:08 to go in the ballgame from the Superdome. The Saints 17-3 over the Rams. Los Angeles ball at its own 40-yard line. Everett has to get something started. Chased out of the pocket. And throws it away. Crowd wanted an intentional grounding on it, and they get it. The rule has nothing to do if there is somebody in the vicinity. A receiver, Damone Johnson, was about 5 yards away.
Yeah, what they want you to do is they want you to stay out there if you're a quarterback and get yourself killed. There's another one of those. I hope Jim Finks is really taking notes on this one for some rule changes when he gets in with the competition committee.
It's up to the judgment of the referee whether he thinks the quarterback was trying to throw it away to avoid a sack.
Absolutely, but we've done it for years. Only 70 years in the league. It's time to change. I mean, it's, you know...
Intentional grounding, number 11. Lost it down, second down.
That's the biggest part of that penalty. You lose the down and you're penalized for yardage. And John Robinson doesn't care for it at all.
Hey, he's not going to run now. Here he is. He throws the ball now. He throws it over the receiver's head. I mean, how different is that if you stand in the middle of the field and do it? I'll admit he was throwing it away, but that's like calling Michael Jordan for walking. You just don't do
well,
things.
That'll never happen.
That's
but...
right. Nobody walks anymore in the NBA.
So it's 2nd and 20 now. Flag is down. Anderson with the catch. Avoids Milton Mack. Picks up another 6-7 yards. Driven out of bounds at the 45. We'll check the flag. It looks like the Saints may have jumped early.
Been a busy day for the men in striped shirts.
But the gain was about 15 yards on the play.
Offside, defense, number 94. Penalty is declined. Third down.
It's Jim Wilkes, the nose man.
If Flipper Anderson was tackled where he caught the ball, it would have only been about an 8-yard gain, which would have left them with a third down and 13,
right,
which really would have been tough to make a decision. But by his extra effort, they're in a very makeable third down for the Rams.
3rd and 4. Everett pumps, then unloads. Complete sideline, first down. Got it out to Aaron Cox. Covered by Milton Mack. Good effort by Everett.
We talked about Aaron Cox. Started last year filling in for Henry Ellard. Of course, big shoes to fill. Look at him slam on the brakes. Oh, these guys love playing on this carpet. That's one thing about on AstroTurf. If you're like a back like Dalton Hilliard or a wide receiver like Aaron Cox, you can stop on a dime and give 9 cents change.
The Rams have to be very careful of the clock. They're down by 2 touchdowns. There's 9:48 to go in the game. Everett now 15 out of 31, 203 yards. But no touchdown. Damone Johnson, the tight end, to the 40.
Well, one thing the Rams are doing with all these pass completions, normally you'd expect a team, if they're throwing the ball, they're going to be caught and time is going to be running off the clock. But they're catching them and getting out of bounds to save that valuable time. And really, the clock is the ally of the Saints at this stage of the game.
Gain of only about 3 yards. Damone Johnson was a big part of the passing offense last year. Caught 42 balls. Coming into this game, he'd only caught 17. Everett has time again, throws, intercepted by Massey. He took it away from Flipper Anderson. What a play by the rookie.
He has been in Flipper's back pocket all night. Everett rolls out to the right. He makes the throw. This ball wobbles out like a dead duck. That's not your normal Everett pass. Anderson tries to make the play. Massey comes in from behind him and basically just steals it. Here's another look at it. Anderson working back to the ball. He manages to get in front, but Massey gets more of the football.
The second interception for Robert Massey tonight, 4 for the season.
He ties Dave Waymer for the club lead.
Now the officials will stop play.
They'll take a look at it, but it isn't going to change it.
The rookie out of North Carolina Central. They reviewed it and the play stands. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see Dalton Hilliard as many times as they can run him.
That's all. Just give it to Dalton. Up and down. Maybe occasionally hand it to Cleveland Gary, who's up front in the fullback position, just to, make him feel decent.
Somebody moved early. It looked like right guard Steve Trapillo jumped for the Saints.
Ball start. Offense. Number 65. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Was Trapillo, the 3-year man out of Boston College. So it's 1st and 15 with 9:35 to go in the game. Well, the Saints defense has done a marvelous job tonight. They've had pressure on them inside
Really,
the 10.
that's how you can tell whether a guy's playing. Look at Hilliard's left leg, just loaded with blood. Probably most of it his own.
Took a big shot as he crossed the 15 this time out to about the 17-yard line. 20th carry of the night for Dalton Hilliard. He's up to 107 yards. Next Sunday, we'll kick off the NFL with game day at 11:30 in the morning. That's Eastern time. Then NFL primetime at 7 o'clock, reviewing every game that was played, highlights, and then Chicago and Minnesota next Sunday night from the Metrodome. And what a big game this will be. The Bears must win that game at 6-6. They have no choice.
Well, their back is no longer against the wall. They're a part of the room right now. They're in the plaster.
2nd and 14. Bear taking all the time he can off the play clock. Barely beat 0 that time. Got it out to Lonzel Hill. He'll pick up a couple. Jerry Gray on the coverage for the Rams.
Rams still in a situation where it's not too bad. 8:30 left. Bobby Hebert certainly keeping an eye on the clock. He'll take every piece of this 30-second clock down, which is now a 30-second clock. Started at 45.
Hebert 9 out of 18, 120 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Not real big numbers, but he's been quite efficient.
And the interception was just a lucky play by Sean Miller after his hand was hit.
Wilcher with some pressure. And Hebert has to get out of bounds. And he decked one of the technicians on the sideline holding one of the parabolic mics.
Yeah,
which may never be the same again, and neither may the technician.
We can forget about sound from the field now for a while. Bobby Hebert took care of that. Kevin Green's going to run him out eventually. Hebert and Everett, neither one of them really nifty runners, not the kind of guys who are going to make big plays, but Hebert does a smart thing. He's just not going to put the ball up for grabs.
That is Vic on our ESPN crew.
Good tackle, Vic. Good tackle.
Barnhart on to kick to Henley. He's had a great night. Rams showing only 6 guys on the line of scrimmage. Doesn't look like they want to come after it, and they don't. And Barnhart just hangs another one up there. Henley will try to bring this one back. Can't get to the corner. Excellent special team coverage again. Milton Mack downfield to hold it to a 3-yard return after a high-sailing 41-yard punt. Time ticking down. 7:48 left. Seven minutes and 48 seconds. Stand behind the New Orleans Saints and a season sweep of the Rams. They're up 17-3. Jim Everett will take over at his own 37-yard line.
I think the Rams got to spread them out. I really believe that they've got to try and spread them out. Of course, without Henry Ellard, they can't. They only have 3 wide receivers available to them. And the Saints are just going to pack in all those linebackers and defensive linemen.
Corner blitz. And they throw over the middle, complete to Cox, and Dave Waymer unloads. Gain of 23.
Boy, Everett had some nervous feet in there anyway. Watch Cox come in. Now, the only reason he's able to get downfield this far, he's got Toy Cook on his horse going the other way. Watch this shot, right part of your screen. Waymer just unloads him. Just unloaded on him.
The Rams' running game has totally been held in check tonight. Greg Bell with 13 yards rushing, a season low. Jackson comes on the blitz. Everett throws, complete. Flipper Anderson got out of bounds at the 26-yard line. It's another first down. Robert Massey on the coverage. Big night for Anderson.
Tell you what, the reason why the Rams are keeping two backs in the ball game is they're in there totally for protection. They're not in there to run the football. They know that the linebackers are coming off the edge, and if a linebacker doesn't come, Jim Everett's just going to tell Bell or Del Pino, find Pat Swilling. Please, I don't care. Wherever you're lined up, find Pat Swilling and help out on him.
The Rams have spent an awful lot of time in Saints territory and have 3 points to show for it. Del Pino to the 20. Vaughn Johnson brought him down along with Gene Atkins, the safety.
The Rams have to score a touchdown on this drive, or else it's the party's over. We can play that song.
John Robinson trying to get Everett's attention, and does. It's second and 4 at the 20.
Keeping an eye on the clock.
This is what the Rams have done inside the 20 tonight. 3 times they've had it and come away with a field goal. Anderson spun around, couldn't get it, and Massey was with him stride for stride. Well, Massey has not drawn anything but the short straw tonight.
I'll tell you something. Everywhere you look for Flipper Anderson, you're going to find Robert Massey. He's lined up head on head. Doesn't take the hard fake inside. Great field position. Now Anderson's looking upfield. Everett throws this ball, but Jim Everett has not thrown the ball well tonight. They're fluttering, and they're off the mark by a considerable margin. His hitches have been that way, and everything up the field. If he tightens up the spiral, he's accurate. Once they start wobbling, who knows where it goes.
3rd and 4. They'll run it with Bell. Forget it. Loose ball, Saints have it. Jumpy Gathers recovers the fumble. Now, what a turn of events.
They try and sneak a run in. There's everybody up at the line of scrimmage. There's 9 Saints up there getting ready to hit people.
Jim Wilkes paused it. And James Jumpy Gathers got it back. That may have been the last gasp for the Rams.
The scenario of this game's real simple, Mike. The Saints have out-hit and out-physical the Los Angeles Rams. They have taken the game right to them and smacked them right in the face.
No matter what happens from here on in, the defense deserves a game ball. Dalton Hilliard. They'll just try to work on the clock here. There is a penalty flag down on the play. Sean Miller was in on the tackle.
Tell you one thing, that Saints offense has done everything they can to help the Rams out. They've been out on the field twice in this quarter, got nothing but
Holding
penalties.
number 82 of the offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
John Tice, the tight end. The Rams came into this game with the lowest number of lost fumbles in the National Football League. And that one hurt.
And Everett ranked right up there with passers.
So they'll move it back to the 10. It's 1st and 20, but the bigger statistic is 6:06 on the clock, and there are the numbers on Jim Everett. We're under 6 minutes and counting. They Hebert wants to throw. And Lonzel Hill, who ran a little sideline and go, is overthrown. And Bobby Hebert, very unhappy about this situation. He's a very vocal quarterback out there.
He really is. He likes to let people know what's going on. You know, he tells his people, if he makes a mistake, you yell at me because I just want to let you know. Leroy Irvin gets caught up front looking. You know, they got that whole secondary of the Rams thinking, run support, they're going to run it. You got the number 2 and number 3 ranked quarterbacks in the NFC. Everett, number 2 behind Montana, who's the best, not in this business, but in the world. And Hebert, who's number 3.
Hebert's only thrown the ball 6 times here in the second half, a pattern they started a couple of games ago. Dalton Hilliard took a big shot as he got it out to the 14-yard line. Newman, Strickland, Newsome all in on the stop. Clock continues to run. We're under 5.5 minutes. And Dalton Hilliard getting very close to 1,000 yards.
Coming into this game, Dalton Hilliard had been responsible for 70% of the running plays in this season.
Dalton Hilliard has outrushed the Rams collectively. He is 10 yards away from 1,000, that exclusive club that he would join in 12 games. Hebert to the shotgun, 3-man rush, and throwing long. Almost intercepted by Gray, intended for Floyd Turner, and that one surprised me a little.
Now on 3rd and long, the worst thing you can do, Mike, is throw the ball somewhere. You got to remember, Bobby's throwing from about his own 10-yard line, 5-yard line. If you throw the ball in the middle anywhere to try and pick up the first down and it goes up in the air, you give the Rams field position at your own 30 where they've spent this entire half.
Oh, it surprised me they threw it at all.
No, it's a good call. On 3rd and 4, you put the ball up the field. You never know. You can make a big play and then you run it out.
See if the Rams come after Barnhart. They show an 8-man front. Almost got there, and Barnhart got out another kick, and a flag goes down as Barnhart was hit. Michael Stewart went for the block, missed it, and got Barnhart.
They're going to have running into the kicker. It's only going to be a 5-yard penalty, which means that the Rams get to do it once again if they want, because now it's going to be 4th down and 10 instead of 4th down and 15.
And the Saints are signaling it is 5 yards.
I think it's interesting. They could refuse it, too.
Yes, exactly.
And say, no, I give the Rams the ball back down there.
Why give them another chance for a punt block?
Very good thinking. Mike, you get into this, you know. Coming to Coach Patrick.
No, thank you.
Coach Patrick. You look like you'd use some ulcers.
Personal foul, running into the kicker. It's only a 5-yard penalty. The penalty is declined. It'll be first down up there.
Stewart desperately going for the block, got a piece of Barnhart instead. 17-3 with 4:40 left. 17-3 with Jim Mora having the advantage over John Robinson right now with 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go in this ball game. The only scoring of the half, by the way, if you joined us late, Hilliard to Martin on a 35-yard option pass touchdown. That's been it in the second half. Now or never for the Rams from their own 39. They need 2 scores in 4:40. Cox went inside, Everett threw outside. Double covered anyway, Brett Maxey and Toy Cook.
The Saints just don't give you a lot of areas to attack them defensively. When they make you throw the football, they can put a lot of pressure on you just by rushing 4. I mean, rushing Swilling is like having 2 people rush.
He's got enough sacks for 3. Four-man rush, blitz from the corner. They get rid of it. McGee has the first down out of the backfield, dives forward to the 50-yard line. Good job by Everett to get rid of it. Toy Cook was coming on a corner blitz.
What the Saints are doing is they're just bringing people where they know the Rams can't block them. They've got the 4 wide receivers in, and Holohan becoming that 4th wide receiver, and they're just bringing guys off the corner.
Clock running, Rams in their hurry-up offense. Everett wants Anderson deep. Caught the ball. He's down at the 4. That time he beat Massey.
And that time Everett threw the ball inside. Everett moving his ball club to the line of scrimmage. Here he just goes up inside. He does. Does he have it? Yes, he does have it.
Yep.
He absolutely does have it, and then it gets knocked away from him.
9 catches for Anderson, 217 yards.
Well,
He's having a brilliant night.
We saw the Rams do this against Buffalo. We saw him do it against Minnesota.
And now the Rams are down to the point where they've had all sorts of trouble inside the 5. They'll run with Bell. Flag is down. Bell goes to the 2. We'll check the penalty. Vaughn Johnson made the tackle. It will go on the Rams. They simply...
Number 72, the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Robert Cox, third-year man out of UCLA. They just haven't been able to run the ball at all against us.
And it seems like when they do, they get a holding penalty. I mean, the guys they're trying to stay with those inside people, and they just can't. You know, in all truth, Mike, the offensive line of the Rams is built to run the football, not pass block. And we've seen that with the sacks and the pressure on Everett. That's the way it was constructed. You've got Pankey with 10 years, Doug Smith with 12, and Jackie Slater with 14. Those guys have all been brought in because they're great run blockers. Throwing is something new to them.
Saints have stopped the clock with 3:11 to go in the game as the ball was moved back to the 14-yard line. They want to discuss what defense they want to be in on 1st and goal from the 14-yard line, and it gives Everett a chance to talk to John Robinson. Both teams with 2 timeouts left and 3:11 to go. If the Saints hold on to win, both teams would be 7-5. The Rams have left Dallas, San Francisco, the Jets, and New England. You have to figure at 7-5 that what? 10-6 certainly gets you.
Yeah, you know, San Francisco, I think is the cream of. Actually, it's the cream of the league. I think it'd be a tough haul for them, although they've beaten them once.
And there's
the Saints remaining. When the Saints, you know, they got to go to Buffalo. They have to play Philadelphia, Indianapolis. It will be down here in a dome where they're real tough. And Detroit, who the heck knows what Detroit's going to do?
Now, the Rams have beaten the 49ers already. They would love to go into the game December 11th, only 1 game down. Right now, it looks like they'll be 2 behind when they meet San Francisco again. Everett on 1st and goal throws it away. Anderson was running an out move just inside the 10. There is a flag down on this play.
The Rams are in a self-destruct mode in the second half. This is going to be illegal motion.
Ball start. Number 75, the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
It is now 1st and goal from the 19.
You can't blame Irv Pankey for getting out a little quicker. He's got Swilling coming hard off the corner, so he constantly tries to get out and get himself in position to block him.
Bob Lee and Dan Patrick will be along with Sports Center. Here is the goal-to-go situation for the Rams tonight. They have gone backward more often than forward. It's still 1st and goal, but now from the 19-yard line. 3:11 to go in the game. Everett unloads. Cox to the 5. Brought down by Toy Cook. Rams hustling up to the line of scrimmage. It will be 2nd and goal.
Nice tackle by Toy Cook. Managing just to hang on to Cox's shirt and bring him down, or else he's in the end zone for the quick score.
Here's the running play. Touchdown. Buford McGee.
That's what the Rams tried to do on that 4th down call, except that the Saints brought a few more people. That time they dropped back, and they managed to get the score. 2:46 to go. They're going to get some help from the 2-minute warning.
They have tried to cross him up all night. They finally did it.
Well, here it is. You see, look at the wide rush by Swilling. They finally get him blocked. They get Van Johnson blocked. And Buford McGee managed to go in real clean.
Lansford for the point after. And it's a 7-point ball game with 2:46 to play. The seldom used Buford McGee gets his first rushing touchdown of the season and cuts the lead to 7.
This is when he's ever just going to go back in his, I mean, he doesn't even show pass much. He just turns around. The Saints basically commit themselves to pass rushing, which gives Buford McGee a giant amount of room to run through.
Nice block by Doug Smith, who's been to 5 straight Pro Bowls. He really opened up the middle on that one. You go for the onside kick here or kick it deep and hope your defense holds?
You got to kick it deep and hope your defense holds, because if you kick it onside, you give the Saints the short field, and then if you do get it back, you give yourself the long field. I think you got to take a chance and kick it down the field.
Rams still alive with 2:46 to go, and that drives 61 yards. Minute 54 is all it took, and McGee capped it with a 5-yard run. The Rams have only tried one onside kick this year. Didn't get it back.
Mike Lansford. Mike likes kicking in this place. He likes kicking field goals. He hopes the opportunity comes down. Back in '83, the Saints and Rams were tied for a playoff berth, and he said his rookie year then in '83, he kicked a field goal with 42 seconds to go down here to win it for the Rams. So it's a good place for him. He feels comfortable in it, and I'm sure he wants a shot at trying to help his ball club out.
Well, if you were barefoot, you'd like to kick indoors too.
Heck yeah. Hey, our Carl Smith, the offensive coordinator, Bobby Hebert talking things over. I think the basic discussion is find Dalton and give him the ball.
He'll be right behind you.
That's right.
Saints protecting against the onside kick. They have 9 men at midfield, and Lansford kicks away. Hilliard is back to take it, went all the way back to his goal line. Gets it back to the 20-yard line. Frank Stamms out of Notre Dame down to make the tackle on special teams.
What's going to happen here is you got 2:36 to go in the half. The Rams, if they can shut them down on first down, will call a timeout. That way it'll go down. The 2-minute warning will be their second timeout. They'll have 1 left. And hopefully they'll be able to force the Saints to be able to punt. And then they got 1 timeout left with a little under 2 minutes to move the ball. That's what they're looking for. The Saints, on the other hand, they want to pick up 4 or 5 yards on this play so that they can dictate the offense.
Hilliard is the lone setback. And he'll get the call. Hit at the line of scrimmage. Rams will use a timeout to stop the clock. 2:31 to go. Nice call.
Thank you. You have to. I mean, that's the way you have to think this thing out. Because knowing that 1 timeout was used up earlier in the half, you have to count on the 2-minute warning helping you out. Plus, remember, the Saints have been, offensively, they've been horrible in this half. That's the first thing you remember. Secondly, they've been even worse on 3rd and long.
Sports Center coming up right after our telecast. A look at the Packers and their big win today, the battle for #1 in college football, and a conversation with Joe Carter of the Cleveland Indians. And talk about a homegrown offense for the Saints. Bobby Hebert, Dalton Hilliard, Buford Jordan, Floyd Turner, and Eric Martin, all out of Louisiana colleges. Now, that used to happen all the time when they had the protected draft of teams in your area.
Shoot, yeah.
But they've gotten a lot of use out of these guys.
You betcha.
Good old boys.
You betcha. Louisiana boys. Homegrown products. They like playing down here. Always nice to play close to home.
LSU, Tulane, Northwest Louisiana. Ball spotted at the 19. Officially 2nd and 10. Somebody moved and the Rams jump across.
You know, it's not a time to do that. Haverdink flinched just a little bit there at left tackle. And Hebert, I'll guarantee you what Hebert wanted to do. He wanted to get a cheap 5.
Ball start. Number 70 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Knowing that the defense is really geared up to try and stop you, he goes on a little bit longer count. See how he goes, hut, hut, up, but he got the wrong guy to move.
And he was not dropping the pass block either. Haverdink, the rookie out of Western Michigan, playing left tackle because Brad Edelman is hurt at guard and Dombrowski moved over there.
8 Rams up at the line of scrimmage. There's the quick post.
Hebert to Martin. Irvin brought him down. Clutch tackle at the 24-yard line.
Rams use up another timeout, their last timeout. Now the only one they're going to have left is the 2-minute warning if they can stop the Saints right here. This, in essence, is the ball game. It either gives the Rams a chance to come back and tie it, send this thing into OT, or the Saints get to pick up the first down and run this baby down to nothing.
If the Rams do get it back and need a long pass, they've certainly shown they can do it tonight. The Flipper Anderson catches at 43, 46, and 51 in this game alone. He came into the contest as the leader in the NFL, 30.7 yards a catch.
Only 19 catches, though. That's amazing at 30.7.
Well, you only need to catch 19 if they're 30 yards.
Heck yeah, you show with big numbers. Of course, we talked about Henry Ellard being down, so Flipper's role became more important. There's Henry Ellard. And actually, it was his right leg. It was the right tendon behind the knee that he hurt a couple days ago in practice. Now, there are 3 young guys getting some great wisdom from a veteran. Willie Anderson, of course, Aaron Cox, Ron Brown's there.
3rd and 5, Saints go to 4 wide receivers. Hayward, the lone setback with Hebert on the gun. Three-man rush. Hebert being chased. Hawkins after him at the 10. He unloads. He threw it away. And a flag down, intentional grounding. Remember, this was called against the Rams earlier in the game, and this was exactly the same situation.
I didn't like it then. I don't like it now.
Number 3.
I didn't like it then. I don't like it now, but at least the consistency is in the officiating, and that is one thing you cannot complain about. If an official is going to be consistent, then everybody plays by the same observations.
This is loss of down and the yardage.
Great pressure coming in on the left side. You see him force Hebert out and around. Green almost gets him. Number 70, Bill Hawkins, finally coming into his own and playing. Number 1 pick out of the University of Miami.
It has nothing to do whether a receiver is in the area or not. It's the official's judgment of whether the quarterback was trying to avoid a loss of yardage. That's it.
Now what's going to happen is the Rams are going to get the ball back with more than 2 minutes left, so they'll be able to run a play or two before they ever have to get down under the 2 minutes. So obviously they pick up what in essence is the 4th timeout for them.
And they have no timeouts left, but it shouldn't make a difference.
The other thing you can do is take a shot at going after the kick.
They have 10 men on the line of scrimmage.
But you don't want to do that, because if it goes out of the end zone, it becomes a touchback, not a touchdown.
Here they come. Barnhart got it out of there. Not a good kick this time, but he did get rid of it. And Hemley inside the 40. Still on his feet, giving ground and stopped at the 40-yard line. 32-yard punt, a return of 3. 2:04 to go. Brett Maxey made the tackle, but Everett will have plenty of time to go for the tying touchdown.
This is the situation that you want to be in if you're a quarterback. It's all on this man's shoulders. We said at the top of the show it was going to be a quarterback's game. Bobby Hebert has quarterbacked the first half fabulously for the Saints. Hasn't been able to do much the second half. It's Everett's turn now to take himself up one more notch on the quarterback ladders in the league.
And you wonder if the Saints defense can come through one more time. Saints jumped. Let's see if the Rams moved first. Ricky Jackson came across early. And Irv Pankey was the man who moved the drawing.
Well, you know, Pat Swilling moves first.
False start. Number 75 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Pankey, the 10-year veteran.
Now what Pankey's doing, he's reacting to Swilling. Swilling's down on the right side. He's coming around the corner. But
That's
up on the
other side of
up
the
on the
formation.
left part of the formation, Ricky Jackson sort of bluffs him, and that's the difference between a guy who's been around. He's a headsy guy. He got Panky to move.
1st and 15 now from the Saints 45. Everett is sacked. Frank Warren. The 6th time they have gotten to Jim Everett. The first time they met, they got him 5.
Watch Swilling come around. They can't block him with 2 people. Look at him get around the horn. The problem, which I'll explain to you after this commercial.
All right. 2 minutes to go in the game. The Rams will face 2nd and 22. All right, thank you, Bob. And Bob will be back right after our ball game, as he said, to update you on everything going on around the league and the rest of the world of sports. 2nd and 22 Rams. There is Swilling.
The problem he causes is you got to block him with 2 people, leaving somebody to go after the quarterback.
4-man rush. Swilling almost had him. Everett unloads. Holohan forced out of bounds by Vaughn Johnson at the Saints 45. And there's a flag down on the play. Back where Everett was, it's holding. Well, it was 2nd and 22. Now it's going to be 2nd and 32.
Well, I'll tell you something. Pat Swilling.
Holding, number 72 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Robert Cox against Swilling.
Boy, oh boy, he's unbelievable. Watch this. Watch him come up. He comes up the field, and then he takes the hard right. See that right hand? Well, he's got his left hand on his back, his right hand on his chest, and he should have both of them somewhere. And he can't. Swilling has elevated himself from all-pro to all-world tonight.
2nd and 32. Everett unloads for Anderson. Great throw, and Anderson down to the Saint 37-yard line. No timeouts left, a gain of 25. It's still 3rd down, but at least now it's manageable. Third and 6. Holohan, great catch and dives for the first down. What a play by Pete Holohan.
He's a guy, he's been their clutch receiver all year. There he makes a one-handed catch and has presence of mind to leap ahead for the first down.
A brilliant play by the veteran from Notre Dame. First down. Anderson caught another one at the 15. Oh, the Rams are holding on by their fingernails.
Flipper Anderson, every time you turn around, you need a big play. He's come up with it.
He is having a career night. 11 catches, 253 yards.
Jim Everett just hanging in the pocket. Look at this throw to the sidelines. 1 foot down, 2 foot down, out of bounds with the catch.
Clock stopped with 1:06 left. In the 2-minute drill, the Rams have been outstanding.
And they're going to take a look at it. This is my problem with instant replay. No matter how you get momentum going, whether it's offense or defense,
25 seconds. 25 seconds.
they come back and look at it. There it is. His foot right, left foot's
right.
down, right foot's down. It's a good catch. I mean, he has possession of the ball when his left foot is on the ground.
Sure does.
Right there. Now, you can't see it. It's hidden by the defensive back.
Of course, the crowd is reacting to the replay in here. All they see is 1 foot down in the step out of bounds, but it's obvious he made the catch.
First down.
Now, the crowd is seeing the replay with its heart and not its eyes.
Now, even Jim Moore was sort of hoping.
Everett for Anderson. Touchdown! Holy cow!
And Robert Massey has had such a great night against Flipper Willie Anderson. And they just keep coming at him and coming at him. Anderson with the big catch. And Everett with some big league throws under a lot of pressure.
Lansford to tie. $17-all with 1:02 left. Boy, some great numbers right now. Everett with 377 yards, a great second half. And Flipper Anderson, 12 catches, 268 yards. That's awesome.
He's a phenom. 17-17. Jim Everett walking around congratulating everybody. Look at how he finds the ball. Now, Robert Massey is concentrating so much on Anderson, he loses track of it. Here comes the big spike. Boy, he's done everything. Jim Everett throws this one off balance, but he doesn't have to throw it too far downfield. He throws it inside where Anderson has a shot at making the play.
Anderson came into the game with 19 catches on the season. He has 12 tonight.
There it is again, the little flip outside. Little flip to Flipper. Now, here we go. Let's go the other way. You know, Johnny Robinson, he's a little excited. Woo! Oh my goodness. Tell me something good. Tell me something real good right now. Somebody tell me something good.
They have made Coach Robinson wait all night for some fireworks, but he finally got him here in the fourth quarter, and Robert Massey really upset.
Well,
he's had both halves of games. 2 interceptions, some great deflections, but Anderson has also burned him.
Well, he has, and this time what he's saying is that, hey, Anderson pushed me off when he went for the catch, but it's considered incidental contact.
Flipper Anderson with a career night.
Yeah, but his average is down.
Yeah,
Poor
came
guy.
in at 30.
30, now he's down to 22 and a TD.
Of course, the Saints situation is 1:02 to go and 2 timeouts, and Morton Anderson, who can kick it a ton.
That's right.
Here at the Superdome.
We've seen Jim Everett just take his ball club in for the touchdown. He did his responsibility. But, of course, the Rams have been here before. They were in this situation against Buffalo a few weeks ago, and, of course, against Minnesota in the overtime.
Back to the 21-yard line. They'll start from there with 58 seconds left.
If you're the Saints, you're not real good at putting the ball downfield. You're a possession type of passing offense. So what do? Is you try and really work the sidelines. There's John, not working, he's working his own sidelines, telling his guys, hey, look, we're back in this thing, get ready to go.
Robinson talking to his offense. They have come through in the last 7 minutes of the game with 14 points after being hamstrung the entire night. Now Hebert brings them out.
The thing you have to be careful of here is a little draw or something to Hilliard to break a big play against it.
Hebert with time, knocked away. Leroy Irvin over Hilliard. Great defensive play.
The Saints have got to try and get the ball to a wide receiver. They can't continue to work it to the backs because they're not going to get enough. Leroy Irvin out there in that zone defense just smashes it down over Dalton Hilliard's head. Makes the play. Bobby Hebert calling 2 plays in the huddle just in case it's caught downfield. Now they're in the gun to spread it out.
53 seconds left. 3-man rush. Hebert dumps it over the middle, completes it to Hilliard. He gets up to the 30. He'll be shy of the first down. Saints hurry up. Clock running, 39 seconds to go. They've got to get the first down. Hebert floats it sideline, incomplete. That'll make it 4th and 1, and Jerry Gray made a great play over there as they threw for Floyd Turner.
I'll tell you why. Jerry Gray, who is a natural corner, wants to be a safety. Now watch him come left lower part of your screen. Henley gets beat. Look at Jerry Gray come over. To have a guy like Jerry Gray out there able to play center field is so important in the dime.
Now, 4th and 1. They'll punt the ball. The crowd didn't like the call. What else can you do with 30 seconds left?
I don't know why. I don't know why Hebert, they took somebody out of the center. I don't know why Hebert just didn't try and quarterback sneak it instead of throwing it up the field. You certainly don't rough the kicker in this situation.
10-man front against Barnhart. They made sure they didn't hit him, and Henley tries to signal the fair catch and get up on the ball, takes a bad bounce, and goes out of bounds past the Rams' 40. Now, 22 seconds to go for the Rams. They don't have a timeout left, however.
Doesn't matter what you do. 22 seconds is plenty of time for one play. What you do is you line up. Ball's going to be on the 41-yard line. You need to get down to the 30. So what happens is you rush, or you run some deep in patterns or post to try and get the ball down there, rush to the line of scrimmage, throw it in the ground if you have to, and even take a penalty.
The numbers on Everett. The 2 touchdowns both coming in the fourth quarter.
Gotta watch it next seam route. There it is.
Anderson. What a huge night. He's down at the 35. Clock running. Gain of 24.
Now we're throwing out pattern. There it is. Down to the ground. Now.
That is legal.
Now Lansford's got a shot at a mile kick.
This would be approximately 52 yards. His long this year is 48. And you said earlier that he thought about a game-winning kick right here.
That's right. 1983, both teams were 8-7. He made a kick to put the Rams into the playoffs. And it was at this field goal, because when we were down on the field before, he pointed to these uprights.
This would tie a career-long kick from Mike Lansford and win the game for the Los Angeles Rams. It's wide. We will go to overtime. What a game. Whew.
Now, just when you think the Rams are not only down but out, they come flying back. They sit around for 56 minutes and floundered offensively, and then they bounce back and tie it. Now watch how close this one is. Plenty of distance. Misses to the right by about 2-3 feet.
Whoa. So we'll have a break to set it up for overtime, and what has normally happened in overtimes in the National Football League, because you have such good field goal kickers, the team that gets it first wins most of the time.
Well, that didn't happen to the Rams, if you remember that.
And the Saints win the toss.
Interesting decision, though. Jackie Slater took the ball going the way the Rams have produced some points. Psychologically, it's going to help them.
We'll go to overtime. 17-17, the Rams and the Saints. We go to overtime in the Superdome in New Orleans, and Willie Anderson has had a marvelous night. 13 catches, 296 yards. He's closing in on a record from 1945 when one Jim Benton picked up 303 yards.
Where are they now?
I don't know. But we know where Willie Anderson is. He's
truth.
waiting on the sideline hoping for another shot.
The Saints are still trying to find him, I think, though.
The NFL record, by the way, Stephon Page, 309 yards in 1985. And if Anderson makes one more grab, he'll probably have that one too. Harris and Frazier are deep. Harris from the 4 to the 30-yard line. Jerry Gray brought him down on special teams. Both teams have 2 timeouts in overtime. The first team that scores wins. And that's what's on Hebert's mind.
Well, that's right. And, you know, the Saints have struggled offensively in this half. I think they played a little more conservative than they wanted to. They made some decisions with the football, trying to take long passes maybe when they shouldn't. They have to go back to what they do best. That's run Dalton Hilliard with the football. Try and pick up 4 first downs and let Morton Anderson kick it for the score.
They'll start from the 30, and Hilliard already has 110 tonight on 22 carries. Play action, Bear. Brenner, great catch. Kobe Brenner, the tight end to the 46-yard line. Mel Owens brought him down, and Bobby Bear is hurt.
Now what happens, see, now once the trainers come out on the field,
he has to leave for a play, or they have to take the timeout.
They blew the whistle to stop play because Bear was down just too long. If the trainers come out, Bear's got to leave for a play. What they're doing is they're saying, no, you didn't get quite that close.
John Forcade is the backup quarterback. And Forcade waiting on the sideline, but Bear is in there right now. And now the official looks at Forcade and says, hey, get in there.
Yep.
And Bobby Bear doesn't want to come out, but I don't think he has a choice.
No, he really doesn't. What he's going to do is he's going to tell Forcade what he called. He's not going to let Forcade call a play. He's just going to tell Forcade and say, listen, this is what I called.
So John Forcade out of Mississippi played in one game this year when Bear was injured. Gives it to its fullback, Buford Jordan, and Jordan dragging people with him across midfield. Forcade, possibly done for the night, comes out, and Bear comes in.
Did his job, picked up a big yardage, picked up 6 yards, 7 yards. Bear got a chance to go over, talk to the coach a little bit, get some words of wisdom from Carl Smith, offensive coordinator, quarterback coach.
17-17 in overtime. 13:56 left. Hilliard. Got to get to the 44 for first down. He is just at the 45. Larry Kell made the tackle. Morton Anderson, who has a career-long 55-yard field goal. They're not within his range yet. Right now, it would be about 62.
And John Forcade is his holder, so he's had a busy series here. Ran out on the field to run a play, runs over to hold for Morton Anderson.
3rd and a yard. Jordan and Hilliard are the backs. 2 tight ends. Hilliard. Oh, what a play. Stopped in the backfield. Kevin Green bolted into the backfield to make the tackle. Huge defensive effort.
Kevin Green describes defense as pure desire. Watch him go over Buford Jordan. Unbelievable. Right side of your screen. Watch this. Look at this. Up and over. He said he wanted to punch somebody in the face in this one, and you lead by example, and he just went over the top to make the play. Big stop.
And on 4th and 3, the Saints will punt. Barnhart comes in to kick to Henley. And Leroy Irvin also back there. No rush. Fair catch signal. Catch made it to 14. Irvin. A punt of 34. And the Rams will now get a shot at it.
An unbelievable effort by Kevin Green. Watch the right side of your screen. Buford Jordan goes out. He throws low on him, but Green just goes. I mean, the amazing thing is that you can't change direction up in the air. He just lands on Dalton Hilliard.
This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. Del Pino, the setback. Look out for Flipper Anderson. Del Pino will get the carry. Flag is down as Del Pino dives forward to the 21. They threw it right into the middle of the Rams' offensive line. Holding again.
Seems like every time the Rams try and run, they wind up getting stuck with a holding.
Holding, number 75 of the offense. After distance to the goal, repeat first down.
10-year veteran Irv Pankey caught holding.
Boy, Irv has had his day. Actually, he's had a month. He's had to go against Taylor. He's had to go against Dolman up in Minnesota. He's had to go against Bruce Smith in Buffalo. This guy can't wait for December to get here. Gosh.
Or January.
January, yeah. Hopefully he'll be working in January.
Ball spotted just outside the 7, first and 17. Jim Everett with a career-high passing 400 plus. Deep over the middle, Anderson. Contact with Massey. He goes down, and a flag comes down. Obvious contact, Massey and Anderson. It would amount to a 36-yard penalty.
Defensive pass interference, number 40, automatic first down.
Well, this is a tough call.
Now Robert Massey, number 2 pick out of North Carolina Central. Now there, Anderson's so good when the ball's inside. There's the contact. He pushes him with his left. See the left arm get away? You run into his back, you push the receiver inside, and the ball lands behind him.
John Robinson helping the officials just a little bit.
Oh, my.
Finally sees the flag. He says, okay, fine.
I can take a breath now.
Ball at the 43. First and 10 for the Rams as they get out of a huge hole. 5-man rush. Everett unloads, just threw it away. Del Pino covered very well out in the flat by Brett Maxey.
Swilling has been coming outside, outside, outside all day on Pankey. Now he just starts outside and comes flying inside.
That's not fair.
I mean, Everett hasn't had a chance at all on the clock.
11:50 to go in overtime. The Rams with 2 clutch fourth-quarter touchdowns, tied it at 17. Face a 2nd and 10 from their own 43. Bell is the tailback. He'll get the carry. Bell dives forward to the 47-yard line, a gain of about 4. Sam Mills made the tackle. Bell, 11 carries tonight, only 17 yards.
Well, coming into this ball game, the Rams felt like they weren't going to run, and they've proven it. Of course, they've done a pretty good job on the other side of the coin, throwing the football. And the second, you just can't say enough about this Saints defense. They've been out there this whole second half and done everything they can to put their finger in the dike.
3rd and 6. Blitz. Everett with time to Anderson. First down and more. Anderson to the 40-yard line of the New Orleans Saints. Toy Cook got a finger on him. A gain of 14 for Flipper Anderson. 310 yards.
This is just speed. All Anderson does is take off across the field. Toy Cook, the best thing he can do is catch him. Just gets his heel. He doesn't get his heel. He's got another 20 yards down the sideline.
Flipper Anderson has just set an NFL record. 310 yards receiving. What a marvelous night. Del Pino protecting the ball. Wilkes got him as he gained a couple. We're down to the 38-yard line. Lansford from here would be about 55 yards away.
Mike has simply stated, I'm the best pressure kicker in football.
Now he may get his
chance again. I don't believe he's ever been in a situation where he's had an opportunity to win with it on the line, within reason, to win it. I don't think he's ever missed.
We've hit the 10-minute mark left in overtime. 2nd and 9, Los Angeles. Pressure. Everett with time. Throws sideline. Aaron Cox at the 28-yard line. They are now within field goal territory. But there's a flag down back at the line of scrimmage. Oh, man.
It's going to be holding again against the Rams.
Holding, number 56 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
That's center Doug Smith, the Pro Bowler. 5 straight years he's gone to Honolulu.
Right in the middle of your screen, number 56. Whoa, man, Jim Wilkes just flies around him. He does everything he can just to get a hold of a shoelace.
Remember, the Rams had it within range, 45 yards for Lansford with that first down. Now they're well out of range back at the Saints 48. 2nd and 19. There's the penalty story. Both teams have been hurt tonight. Everett with time. Holohan short. Ducks his head, got to the 41-yard line. No more gang tackled there. Milton Mack and Sam Mills, the first two. Pat Swilling also in there. It's going to be 3rd and 11.
3rd and 11, find Willie. I mean, you know, you get in the huddle, you're the quarterback, you say to your offensive line, give me time. Willie, I'm looking for you. That's what you say. I mean, you know, you put it on the hat of a guy. You know that he's been your hot hand, and you put it on his hat.
Everett has thrown for 423 yards, a career high. Blitz. Anderson. Got it.
No question. They split him to the top of the screen so that they could get one-on-one, send all the other receivers down to the lower part or the right of Everett, and they got where he wanted. I think he's just tired.
He's got to be.
It's one-on-one. Oh, makes a great move on the corner. Makes a great move up top on Milton Mack. And just an exceptional reception. Dave Waymer couldn't get over to help out.
The Rams have called a timeout as they have a first down at the 14-yard line. The numbers on Flipper Anderson are absolutely staggering. In fact, no one in the history of the National Football League has ever had a night like this. 15 catches, 336 yards. That's incredible.
And that's one. And then you look at Everett's numbers: 29 for 50, 449 yards. I think he had 15 in the second half for 336.
Now, most of the yardage has come in the second half, and the Rams will waste no more time. Lansford will try from 31. He has not missed inside 40 this season. It's over. The Rams win.
Oh, boy, you saw Jim Morris say it. Oh, boy. That's about all he could do. His defense played exceptional the second half. His offense sputtered a bit. Lansford comes through with another clutch kick, and Flipper Anderson put on a clinic tonight.
One of the greatest comebacks in the fourth quarter that I've ever seen. Only 14 points, not in terms of points, but the New Orleans Saints defense had hampered Los Angeles all night long. They'd given them absolutely nothing, and the Rams sucked it up and got it done.
I really believe with all the pressure that the Saints defense constantly put on that Ram offense, they got a little tired pass rushing. I mean, it wears them down, because every time the Rams tried to run the football, they'd get a holding penalty. And anytime Everett got in trouble, he would isolate Flipper Anderson one-on-one with somebody and put it up in a place where he'd be able to make the catch.
Tonight, Flipper Anderson will always remember an incredible record-setting performance. Here is Lansford winning kick.
The Saints try and put the big push up the middle, but they just can't quite get it.
The fourth time this year, the Saints have lost when they led in the fourth quarter. A tough pill to swallow for Jim Mora and the fans down here, because they fall to 6-6. Very difficult for them with 4 games left. Certainly they're not going to win the division. Their chances as a wild card hurt tonight. The Rams go to 8-4. They stay 2 games, now actually a game and a half behind the 49ers, and the 49ers play tomorrow night.
Well, the first half belonged to the Saints, the second half belonged to the Rams, and that's just what you don't want. You don't want the other guys having the great second half.
And they did it in the fourth quarter without Henry Ellard, who came in leading the league in yards, second in receptions. Of course, Flipper Anderson almost caught him in one night. Just a brilliant evening. Once again, our final...